came over me. But when I woke up, honey, it was so plain to see. Something in the way you make me feel. I wanna talk about me. Get up and walk and show me. I tell you, babe, I'm something in the way you make me feel. Like, oh, you make me feel. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. Oh, it's something in the way, yeah, it's something in the way. I tell you, babe, I'm something in the way you make me feel. I wanna talk about you, oh, and it makes me feel real. Now let's see how it was so plain to see. Nothing in the way you make me feel. Ain't no doubt about me. I wanna shout about it. Tell the world about nothing in the way you make me feel. I wanna talk about it. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. You make me feel. You make me feel like, oh, something in the way you make me feel. You make me feel like, you make me feel like, oh, something in the way you make me feel. You make me feel like, you make me feel like, you make me feel real good. I love something in the way you make me feel. You turn me on, make me scream. Oh, you make me feel. Oh, you make me feel. Oh,
All right, peace. Okay, let's get this shit situated. Talk about a few things dealing with the multiverse, which you hear this subject coming up a lot lately, and for good reason, because the true understanding, I believe, that we should have in this time of this is not what's misled and designed to confuse you about the concept. The concept is simpler than they trying to make in your mind. They confuse you and make it unending in your mind. This way your mind doesn't have a way to get in or have a grasp of how to control this aspect of self. So they want to make it seem like it's something out of control, unobtainable, and endless. that you're just a cog under someone else's control in this context. But that's not the case. They have to deal with it now because the subject is in the air. So they're sharing this information among themselves. But again, the sheeple, which is you, are led to believe the textbook definition of what they decide to give you, their understanding of the multiverse is. So let's first go to their textbook and see what they say about this thing here called the multiverse. All right. Sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Sha-na-na-na-na. All right. So here we see their standard Wikipedia definition. And here's a brief explanation of the multiverse. All right, so multiple universes have been hypothesized. So this is still a hypothesis, even by their definition. In cosmology, physics, astronomy, religion, philosophy, transpersonal psychology, music, and all kinds of literature. So it's hypothesized all through there, which means they're not trying to put their foot down, because if they say it's a theory or a hypothesis, it allows your mind to come up with all of these multi ideas, never pinning anything down to take control of it. So let's see. Particularly in science fiction, comic books, and fantasy. In these contexts, parallel universes are also called alternative universes, quantum universes, interpenetrating dimensions, parallel universes. But they said that already. Parallel dimensions, parallel worlds, parallel realities, quantum realities, alternative timelines, alternative dimensions, dimensional planes. The physics community has debated the various multiverse theories over time. Still a theory. Prominent psychiatrists are divided about whether other universes exist outside of our own. Some physicists, that's a psychiatrist, physicist, say the multiverse is not a legitimate topic of scientific inquiry. Concerns have been raised about whether attempts to exempt the multiverse from the experimental verification could erode public confidence in science and ultimately damage the study of fundamental physics. Some have argued that the multiverse is a psychological notion rather than a scientific hypothesis. Listen to that again. Some have argued that the multiverse is a physiological notion rather than a scientific hypothesis, because it cannot be empirically falsified, meaning you can't absolutely say that's not true. It can be proven that it's not true, but where it exists is philosophical rather than physical. Now, I want y'all to keep that in mind as we go on. The ability to disprove the theory by means of scientific experiment is a critical accepted scientific methods. Paul Seffer famously argued, and those experiments can rule out the theory, or if the theory proves, all right, so you get it. They still say it's a theory, but they point out that it is a philosophical notion. Now, in my study on it, in my spiritual work on it, came to a channeled Let me get back here first. A channeled understanding of what's going on. And this understanding is also put against, I guess, my study as a computer tech. And they're clearly showing, well, when you study computer science, starting from scratch, the first way they try to explain it to you is to parallel the computer with the human body, with and everything that the parallel the functions of a computer with the systems of your body, your respiratory, circulatory, skeletal, nervous system, and so on. So this is how you learn, by the correspondence, that which you know with that which you don't know. And then it turns out, as we move on with Neil deGrasse Tyson and all of those invented niggas speaking about simulation and so on and so forth in the Matrix, and then comparing the human to the simulated game, Grand Theft Auto, meaning you're just zeros and ones. The universe is made up of the same numerical pattern as the internet, blah, blah, blah. You're a computer nigga. Or at the very least, what you are, computers are made off of the same technique, the same science, the same zeros, ones, ups and downs, and the same laws. So what we do know, and this became clear, is that what you're looking at on your computer is what they call, or what is in what they call random access memory, or RAM. Meaning anything that you touch in that moment as you're using your computer is pulled into RAM off of this, a hard drive. Your hard drive is also called data storage. Data storage. And off of your data storage, whatever you choose to use, whether it be a Word document, YouTube, a game, or any application that serves in the function of your computer is 9 times out of 10 pulled off your hard drive, where it is stored at for future use or the possibility of future use. So what occurred to me a long time ago was that the concept in what they call the multiverse operates the same way. So what they generally say as a theory is that if I go to my refrigerator and I stand in front of it to make a choice for lunch, and there's at least 5 things I can have: fruit, a sandwich, last night's leftovers, just pull out some condiments and put it on a bagel, whatever, you know. And each one of these choices, just standing at the refrigerator, becomes an entire stream of life. This choice, or the possibility of any choice, including choosing not to have a snack at all, becomes a lifetime somewhere else. It's kind of weird. All right, so was this person having a life before? Or did his life start at that refrigerator? Or let's deal with greater choices of beverage. Now, how many choices you make in a day? Sitting in front of my drum machine, if I hear a sample, there's literally thousands of choices. Well, let's keep it smaller. hundreds of ways I can take that one sample to make my finished product called the song, which means the potential for choices become almost unlimited. And all of this is a life somewhere. Where is this in for all people in all things? So there's universe and parallel universe and multi-universe and multi and layered. When does this become saturated and to what end? It just doesn't make no sense, period. And then, but you know, you're taught God works in mysterious ways and he works beyond your mind. So it's easy to not really think about it on that level. Or if you're the scholarly type, you think NASA has it under control and you're dealing in the realm of rocket surgeons, rocket scientists. Therefore, there's things you won't understand, which is another way of saying, nah, don't think. Just accept that it might be happening because they're talking about it. But if you keep thinking this thing out, it makes to what end? Then, all right. So what I noticed is once you study one of the greatest experiments that they like to promote about quantum physics is that what you observe becomes particles, and what you don't observe are waves. No matter how you observe it through your eyeballs, a camera, any recording device that makes anything watchable instantaneously turns to particles. Now, they explain this also through quantum physics and the game Grand Theft Auto. They said, if I'm the player, let's say the player's name is John the player, not the controller, but the actual cartoon, the actual program individual, John in the game. If he had a mind, from number one, from his perspective, the game, which only exists on a CD to us, is his universe. That's number one. Number two is they talk about how the game is programmed. The John, the player, observing the street he's on, that's when you get to see the detail. People walking, people eating shit, vendors, weather, lighting, cars, and him able to do his thing and go on missions. The next block that he's not looking over is just zeros and ones until he observes it. If he decides to turn and look or walk on that block, then that block now becomes birds, weather, food, sound, light. While the block he previously was on returns back into what? Data. So this corresponds with particles and waves. What you observe is particles. What you don't observe becomes data. So this multiverse that they're calling it is nothing more than data. All of those choices are stored up in your DNA as the possibilities of what and who you are if you choose to observe it. And that's the key. Your observation has always been the key and has always been the thing. This is how you pull yourself up by your bootstraps. So in other words, if you wanted to become a tow truck operator, you would have to read the tow truck book. You would have to see the law on it, meaning if you need your regular driver's license or a specialty driver's license, you can and would see if you can receive classes on it. You would maybe take an apprenticeship. In other words, there are ways we know to become a tow truck driver here. It seems simple. It's not really hard. There's ways to become a teacher, a doctor, a butcher, a baker, and a candlestick maker. But what we're actually doing is shifting our reality. Because if I was a employee in a mailroom who started going to school at night to learn to operate forklifts and eventually moved to be a forklift operator, I've now shifted my reality. Where the question is, did I make this reality up, or did this reality or did this type of me exist? It might have existed because when you were working in the mailroom, you first started off as a dream. Boy, oh boy, I sure wish I could be a tow truck operator. Damn, what do I got to do? First thing you do, you talk to other tow truck operators, people who live in that reality that you're not in but want to get into. Hey man, what's life like as a tow truck operator? Hell, son, you get to walk around the city, pull your dick out, wrap it around a car, and drag that motherfucker back to the station, nigga. That's all I ever wanted to do. Well, you need the book, you need your this, you need your A+ this, you need your B over 5. Once you get that, you got to see this, got to see that, and you got to do that. You're probably going to start off doing that, and then you do this. You shift your reality. Or I made music ever since I was a kid. That's all I knew how to do. And then in my mind, I started saying, shit, do I know how to do anything else? I'm turning 29, 30, and I've never done anything else. I just feel like I need to do something. Job-wise, I had no skills. And long story short, just picked up computer books, bigger than my head, and shifted my reality and became a computer tech. So that data or that existence of me as a computer tech existed. I had to see it in my head first. That's why the concept they're talking about of all the choices you would make actually create a path. But the path is data, not me living in 1,000 lives. That's why in this particular scenario, I'm observing through these eyes. I'm here. So everything that happens through me as particles that come from the waves, or the waves being the quantum world, the particles being this material world, everything that comes from me is internalized as my data in my DNA, things for me to access. Now, how do you access it? You access it with your mind. Now, physically, because there are criteria, that's why I have to get credentials that proved I access my tow truck driving on my computer shit with my mind. But technically, I'm there. For instance, I was watching a tow truck show on A&E, and the father owned the tow truck, but all his kids, who was 9, 10, 11, knew how to move trucks and tow cars. So they are just as qualified or better qualified than most, but have no credentials to back it up. So the credentials are just what you need here to prove that you studied it. But the only thing that was accessed was these kids' mind. And it's in them. It's in them. They'll say it's in your DNA, it's in your genes. Everything is actually in you, because all of these choices, like at the refrigerator, have happened, but they're not being lives played out somewhere where another guy you're gonna meet and be like, oh shit, you're the panic who is a French fry cook. You're the panic who's a gymnast. No, but can panic be a gymnast? Yes. But it would start with me going to something people do at a young age to cultivate that reality. At my age, doing it we've already agreed that that's not what it is. Society agreed with this. My black ass going, ready? Like, he started next week, but he's really good at what he does. Like, we know there's ways to access aspects of our DNA, and certain shit you should just have grown past. You know what I'm saying? Maybe not, but that's the exact point. Maybe not. How many times have you heard some old motherfucker defying something? You know, that's neither here nor there in terms of what's real. How we function in society is what makes that real, and what we agree to. And those agreements are what we need to challenge now. And that's where this is really going. How to challenge those agreements and become whatever you decide. And we in a time when that's happening easier. Now, we just came out, as you know, and I've talked about the Kali Yuga, which was a time period, or it's also AKA the Iron Age. It's the earth at this time is more conducive to the corruption, to the war, to the stealing, to unfair business, ass whippings, black on black crime, and the whole holocaustic list that your ass just went through. And in this time, thoughts are harder to remain sharp. They are easily distracted and manipulated, and that's what we've been suffering from. We're at a point now where this distraction and manipulation is at its end, if not over. As a human, there'll always be some of it, but this level is over. And that is marked off at what we call the golden age, which we are now in. I can't remember the name, Sate Yuga, or whatever it is. But we are, and again, it's no night and day, but we are now slipping into a new time, a new mood, a new outfit, a new state of being. So that doesn't mean niggas are just going to get it. It means niggas got to go for it. And if you don't know where you're at, you don't know how to act. Most of us still think we're dealing with our old issues, that they are on the table and they still antagonize us on the level they had the power to. And ultimately, if you really knew knowledge of self, they didn't have the power. It was just a little bit more of an uphill battle. That uphill battle, which is eternal, nothing to do with white people, nothing to do with the Illuminati, nothing to do with the demiurge, Satan, or chemtrails, vaccinations, or none of that. This has everything to do with the confidence in your own mind, the knowing of how your own functionality works, and knowing where to obtain your own power from personally. We don't know how to do it. Our confidence has been shot, and I'm here to tell you we're in a time now that is off the table if you choose that. Message. That is off the table if you choose that. Who's all these people? All right, so you see them now talking about the multiverse more. That's because what they're referencing as the multiverse is what I'm trying to explain to you now, and it's on the table. I need you to understand, if I had to truly define myself, I define myself how Bobby Hemmett defined himself, as what they call an end-time eschatologist. I deal with uh, spiritual events now, not just the glory of what we were way back when, but what we are now, what we can do now, and what the ethers seem to be saying right now for you to get into the cusp of shit, to get you in the flow of what the goings on is. So they do not hesitate to explain that they understand what it is that's going on in the ether in today's updates. They just have the means to make movies and parade it in your face as they scarf at what you don't even know about yourself and what they know about you. You too busy trying to figure out their shit, how to get rich and set up Black Wall Street and shit again. They're trying to get the fuck off of this sinking ship. And, different strokes for different folks. What I've been teaching since I got here is the escape route, not the better route. So know your speakers. You understand what I'm saying? When you come to me, you're coming for that. You're coming for information that is constantly telling you what to do to get the fuck off, to expand your consciousness past just this human reality. And if that's not what you're doing, that's fine with me. It's no skin off my teeth. It means absolutely nothing. And I feel no way, but you need to know who your speakers are. So in this golden age, when I'm finding out this data that was in your DNA, that you had to go to school, read all these books just to get the feeling of how to be a tow truck driver, is no longer the case. Certain things take more. Like I said, if I want to be a gymnast, that's going to take more discipline than me learning how to make a pizza and put it in the oven. So you got to factor that in too. But what I'm starting to notice spiritually is the things I'm thinking about, I can feel on such a profound level. I can watch movies and look at places I've never been and can smell the smells. It's a version of you in your, let's just call it multiverse version or multiverse understanding, a version of you that has now done everything. It's impossible not to have done everything down here just by your thought choices. If you watch the movie that happened in Paris, you're still sitting there thinking, oh, Eiffel Tower, wish I could have been there. That's a multiverse in you now that's there. So, of course, you never physically went, but internally, it's happened. And you do have a connection to it. You have a quantum connection. And that's what the multiverse is really a disguise trying to explain to you about your quantum connection and how this quantum reality still works in you as waves or as data. And the data is stored in Akasha or DNA. We had blockages accessing Akasha or DNA based upon, let me write this down. We had problems accessing it as easily because of the time in the cosmic lineup. We are now in a new season on planet Earth. That new season is an age conducive where it's easier to smell, see, touch, feel, and even taste that quantum reality in places that you haven't been, but you have. And to do that and choose now all the best parts in your own mind lines you up with golden age reality. So if you are still accessing that same old hope and lust about trying to get money, trying to save Black people, trying to fix this, trying to teach niggas because they can't figure it out themselves, whatever stupidity that you were holding on to as we were in this golden age, what we did to survive, you can look at it this way, you're going to have to start letting some of those concepts go. Those concepts ain't going to work for you now. In fact, they weren't really working for you before, but now they will actually, but at least you were surviving with them. Now, surviving with the hope of all these Black millionaires that were going to show up someday. The hope of all of these nice and fancy things that Black people were going to finally shake out of America. The other side of that hope is the civil rights niggas and all that shit, you know, with Ketanji Brown and Kamala Harris hope, Obama hope. You know what I'm saying? All of that bullshit is how you were surviving. You no longer need to be, number one, putting your hope in other folks. And number two, you no longer need to believe in anything other than yourself. It is absolutely and positively in this day and age over. You see them fucked up people like Wendy Williams getting fucked up, you know what I'm saying? Clarence Thomas, they almost took his ass out. You see what's happening in conscious people, all them fake niggas, either the agency is calling them back or it's not working out no more with that bullshit, because it's time out for that level of leaders and niggas following. Each individual has the power to transform him or herself. And some of us are younger than others and are choosing to stay here more or longer. So in other words, they're not ready. And those who know better are responsible for leaving them the fuck alone. The manipulation of young divine minds who are seeking information is probably the only crime in the universe your ass will be held accountable for. So play all that shit down here like it's cute. You understand what I'm saying? But we absolutely positively know this ain't the end game down here. And let me tell you, there's no one person on high that you have to answer for. You have to balance yourself out. So you're only doing this to yourself. You're only doing this kind of shit to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Damaging and distorting the path of young minds. The best thing you could do is first make people understand you're not the be all, the end all. So let me say, I am not the be all, the end all. It used to be a crew of motherfuckers telling this. So there was a wide variety of resource because no one person is going to be 100. And you're supposed to take a little bit of what you need from each resource to become you, not to become clones or repeated or this social goddamn reflections of hotepers that most have become. You can't avoid it, and some people are just going to be that. But in the end, it's about the integrity of dignity of the speaker that's in front of you. So clearly, we're in once they gave money to niggas for doing YouTube, the integrity and dignity has been absolutely compromised. So therefore, it's up to you, the seeker of information, the seeker of information, to be able to check those who are speaking in front of you. Meaning, one of the easiest things are if they're giving you resources. So if someone asks them a simple question and they're able to answer it, they should be able to say, well, I got it from here. You can read that too and see what you determine off of it. Or no, it's something that I determined off of my study, but at least you know that's their interpretation, which you may value as well. And it may just be a simple interpretation where it doesn't really need too much scrutiny. But for the most part, they should be able to go against scrutiny in terms of where they're getting it from. Because if they're just getting it out their own mind, then you're just following a nigga. And if they're getting it out their own mind, then what the fuck is wrong with your mind? What makes them more special than you? That defeats the purpose of why you came in the first place. You came for knowledge of self. You didn't come to find a person who's telling you he's more special than you because he can tell you what a twin flame is versus a goddamn kindred spirit. All right, what book you read it from? Because I know you wasn't born with that shit. You had to get it from somewhere. So if they're not willing, that's step one at least, to show you where they got it from. They trying to portray themselves as someone with special knowledge that you do not have or that you need to obtain from them. No, some people like myself have dedicated a grand portion of their life to studying it and should point you in the direction of the study primarily. Eventually, that person who's studying is going to come up with his own things, but you have to be able to say that's his thing. You ultimately need to be coming up with your shit. You understand? So now they're going hard with this multiverse because what they're really saying is this quantum doorway is now open and you can reorder your reality now. You can reorder your reality just by your thoughts. You always could do that. That's what we call magic, manipulating your reality. That's what my class is about. How to manipulate your reality into whatever you define. It's a little bit harder as we were sifting through so much dense thought. That fog is lifted. The only thing that remains is niggas still doing and thinking like they used to think. That's what the story of Moses on the mountain is. Niggas fuck that up and make it a physical story. But how could it be a physical story if they never were physical people? So how could it be a story of that they were just used to worshiping Horus, so they made a golden calf? No, what it was about they were moving into the age of Aries, i.e. them blowing the ram's horn. The age of Taurus is what they were coming out of. And somebody said they go backwards, you know what I'm saying? It goes from Pisces to Aries. We just came out of the age of Pisces, which was the age of believing, into the age of knowing. When the age of knowing came in, that's when the lecture circuit started to emerge. And then what white people did was gave you the internet to deal with the age of knowing and to try to stay in control of it. Negative thoughts in this particular time will be the death of you. That equates with you staying at the base of the mountain. And when Moses, this fictional character, osmosis, because it means to shift. They were making a shift, osmosis. They were making a movement. You were moving out of one age into a next age. That's what that story's about, I'll just say as well. Moving from one age to the next age and moving to a new reality, this land of milk and honey, this new land of abundance. This promised land. You understand what I'm saying? So this is upon us now. And those who think with that same bullshit, black on black crime, I hate niggas, what the fuck you talking about? This bitch, you know what I'm saying? The love and hip hop mentality, the Wendy Williams attitude. That's why she's being taken out. those type of things, time out for it. You're going to see this shit, those type of motherfuckers drying up more and more, and a certain amount of piety and honesty emerge. This shift is happening. It's beginning to be time out, more and more time out for the dumb shit, the Meet the Browns and all the rest of that crap. It's time out for it. And they're trying hard to keep that image going. You don't believe me? Watch a show called Young, African, and Rich on Netflix. Nigga, y'all won't believe this shit is happening in the goddamn world. It's a bunch of Africans in South Africa doing love and hip hop shit. You just got to get high and watch this shit. What the fuck? You are coming for me? What this shit? That shit is mad sus. I'm like, yo, they doing every single thing you seen on goddamn Black Ink and the rest of that stupid human shit that niggas do. With nothing but these motherfuckers got money, private jets, weird ass names. There's a nigga named Swanky Jerry. Just look at Swanky Jerry. So what they're trying to show and trying to make it a universal stupidity. And I can't really say that it's not. Of Negroes acting in this ignorance. So over here, because you're conscious, and we're going to discuss that too. I don't watch that, I don't deal with it, it's small, it's ignorant. No. You got to study it because it's the state of consciousness that connects you as well. You have to be aware of it because you even need to know or be aware of what you are superseding as you move on in your evolution. You need to be aware of it, not just shut it down. That's stupid. Because to somebody else, what you're doing is stupid. It's all about perspective. So you're here to study as a scientist. You're here to see what the psyche actually can become. And just because you haven't become it, doesn't mean you're not here to observe it and study it and learn from this ignorance to never become it or anything like it, to go deeper into the layers of how this mind control is working. Because to understand how mind control works is to understand how the mind works. And your point here is to understand how the mind works, because the mind is all. Therefore, the multiverse is in the mind because the universe is mental. So if it's a multiverse and the universe is mental, where does the multiverse exist? Mentally. Therefore, to control the multiverse, if you think that it's endless places that you can possibly go to when you only have one lifetime here and that's enough, you will never wrap your mind around the concept. That's why they lie to you. One of the other lies while we're here is about lucid dreaming. They tell you lucid dreaming is the act of being in the dream and saying, I'm moving my arms, I'm doing it. And I've done that. But then when I got up, I said, I do that anyway. So me doing it there means what? But I'm also able to have a deep observation of the dream. And I feel lucid as I'm actually observing what my subconscious mind is showing me. And then when I woke up, lucidity now became detail in the dream that I'm able to decipher and use as information from a quantum level, a all-seeing eye level, a holistic level of operating through the planet. That's when I understood what true lucidity was in lucid dreaming. And this happened naturally when I was learning how to astral travel. Lucidity came hand in hand. I didn't even know what lucid dreaming was, but it was happening. Started reaching for things like my phone. I couldn't tell what was happening here and then there anymore. The worlds were coming together, meaning what formerly was separated, my consciousness would stay on earth in the bed, and my subconscious mind would run amok. And what I could retain was very small, like everyone else. And what they teach you in the Robert Bruce's Astral Dynamics is how to bring your consciousness with you as a companion in the dream world, as the observer, as the guy who sits down and watches the movie, and when he comes back, now able to, through his logic, deduce what the subconscious mind is saying to him symbolically, what he was feeling during the dream. I was feeling this kind of way or that kind of way, to diagnose whatever's on your table. So all of this exists in the mind. So Swanky Jerry and the rest of the crew from Young African, it really gets to show you how stupid Black Americans are when you see Africans doing a worse job of what niggas are already doing a terrible job at. What do you mean? I am not that bitch. I am not the bitch to fuck with. You want to fuck with me, it's going to be trouble. It shows, as we always pointed out, your true influence. Even in our ignorance, the world follows us. We are the gods here. You got to stop brushing this entire place with that Negro melanin brush that number one, people came to do the same thing as you down here. And number two, that they're just all right in your book. No, it's a level of consciousness that you should be into. It's a good indication if they're a nigga like you that they have the potential based upon their genetics, but it don't mean they're there. You know that, and I know that. You know that, and I know that. So therefore, when you look at Swanky Jerry and the crew, you'll find they're not you, dog. They're not you. You see things that are you in kind of like as a resource. But what you have become here is special. And you are the great Westerner. You are the one leading the pack. You are the one setting the precedence for Earth behavior. You just don't know it. It's time to take control. We no longer can afford to be ignorant. We no longer can make rap music, turn our hat backwards. The world turns our hat backwards and we go, yeah, that's some fly shit. But then DJ Khaled gets a star on the Walk of Fame, and you trying to figure out Premier ain't even considered for that, and he's your hero. Pete Rock is your hero. What about Marley Marl, a fucking nigga icon? Half these niggas don't even know his name. The first person, along with his partner, Mr. Magic, to ever play rap music anywhere in the world. Half you niggas don't even know his name. How come he doesn't have a star in Hollywood? But DJ Khaled, the fuck on. I don't even know what that is. It's time for you to stop influencing and start taking control of your reality again. Of your reality. That now is taking control of your mind. Something I've been telling you, but now more than ever. That is what this new multiverse shit they're doing. They first started re-promoting it because it's been around. They did a TV show. I think Quantum Leap was one, but there was another one with the fat kid. He used to be a fat kid. on if I get it, that movie, I'll know it. Stand By Me. Stand By Me.
645 Mountain Oaks Parkway, Stone Mountain, Georgia.
I don't know.
087.
Stand By Me movie.
Stand By Me is a 1986 movie directed by
Cast. All right, where was this fat kid? All right, Jerry O'Connell is the white boy's name. He was in a TV show about the multiverse called Sliders. And I think it's available somewhere, maybe on Netflix. It's an 80s show. And they will go into multi-universes and engage in each other in different realities. The entire show, they were trying to get back to their reality. Sliders. On Star Trek Deep Space Nine with Captain Sisko, the black captain, they did many episodes with multiverse concepts. Star Trek, the original one, I remember at least one episode where they had an evil Captain Kirk, multiverse concept. Again, Quantum Leap, I'm missing something. There was a movie called The One by Jet Li about the multiverse. And it cooled down after all of this time, but then you had Spider-Man Into the Multiverse, the cartoon, and it corresponded with Stan Lee and his death. So if you know Marvel, you always felt Stan Lee had more of a connection out of all the characters that he was involved with. He had more of a connection with Spider-Man. You always felt Stan Lee was even as a child, I felt Stan Lee was Spider-Man as a kid for some reason. And he said, of course. So Spider-Man Into the Multiverse with Stan Lee into the multiverse, which is a concept they thinking they could enter white people into Akasha. And they think they could enter Stan Lee into Akasha for the work he's did here. Stan Lee has done the work of creating for white people a universe which they feel they can live in. So is the Star Wars universe. These niggas really feel they're going there. And the Matrix universe, and the Matrix. That's why they play dress up and do all of that shit. They really think they're going there, and I really can't say they're not. You build your mind is what builds your afterlife. That's why I'm so shocked that we cannot factor in a bigger outlook for ourselves. Now, I get that you're here now and you need to function, but we're so earthocentric. It's like we can't do two things at the same time. Like I said, things on earth are decent for me. It's good enough, it's functionable, I'm comfortable, Khadijah's comfortable, and we juggle like anybody else. But there's more than this to me. This is not big enough for me. You know, being a black millionaire is not big enough for me. And then what? And then what? And then what? You know what I'm saying? Nobody really thinks past that because none of you niggas really ever had any money. I've met plenty of black millionaires. They're just as stupid and stuck as anybody else. And worst off, some of them, because now they did what most people dream of. And now when they get there, there's nothing. They're going on the same fucked up vacations, just spending more, doing more elaborate shit on the vacation as you. And it's your idea of what they live like is what you're chasing. But what they actually look like, Donald Trump's been a millionaire, and look at his face. Forget him as president, what he's doing. If you just sit there and look at his face, He's fucked up, even more than the average white man. You see depression, you see his egomania, you see sickness all through his face, and his family's a millionaire. That's not the answer. I'm sure it makes things easier, but you're centered on that. Get what I'm saying? It should be a side effect, all the power you keep saying you have. And it's true. If you shift your center on you, all of these things start to open up pathways, because if your center's on you, having some money to as a tool to sustain yourself on this goddamn planet makes sense. But if that's your whole focus, you miss out on the bigger picture. You're gonna die, son. Then what? Are you prepared, at least in the concept in your mind? Or is it a round trip ticket? That's up to you. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't make me feel either way. It's up to you. I wish the best for you. That's why I talk like this. But if it ain't happening, I lose no sleep. None. I lose none because I know what I have to do. And really, in the end, when you wipe it all away, you can only save you. No one can save you but you. And you need to understand that. Once you start wanting to group up, hey family, hey community, and all that shit, you're in a yoke now, and you must move as a community. You must move in a certain level of morality, and you must move as a family does. Therefore, you force yourself from thinking independently. You just stifled yourself by calling you that, you foolish mule. This shit was about, as we started, and I clearly you niggas still don't know, and you were there, about independent thought, individual responsibility, and individual transformation. Your family aspects was because of like minds, but everyone's arguing. So you can't even say we're family based upon like minds anymore. What are you family? Because you say Hotep now? It's not working, and it's not working for you, and you know it. And I do know it, because I get the consultation. When you wipe all of that fucking social smoke away, all of those fancy statements niggas say in chat rooms, a panic is still not happening, and I don't know. And it's basic shit that no one wants to admit. And we're going to get into why today. So Stan Lee, that was ritual to enter Stan Lee into the Akashic record field, or to the quantum world, which is code name for the multiverse. Spike Lee into the multiverse was them trying to enter one of their kings. Stan Lee is considered one of their kings. He brought them the Marvel universe. That's every white boy's dream without melanin, on what it would be like if they had a little taste of the juice. Strawberry, watermelon. If they had a little taste of the juice, they'd be Thor, they'll be Black Panther, they'll be Spidey, they'll be even DC, super, blah, 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 you know the rest. So they were trying to send their boy off into the quantum world. We'll see if it works. So, and of course, they have to deal with it with Doctor Strange, which they have a new Doctor Strange movie about the multiverse, which will be occult. It is done by Sam Raimi. Sam Raimi is an occultist. He started out with a student movie, Evil Dead. Let's actually see some of Sam Raimi's stuff, though he's done some of the Spider-Mans as well. But again, those are cult movies. Sam Raimi. So, Evil Dead, he did Spider-Man, at least 2 Spider-Mans. He's did Doctor Strange, Multiverse, of course. Spider-Man's Evil Dead, Army of Dark. He did Drag Me to Hell, Darkman. Oz, he did that new Oz movie, which was a cult. He's done scared shit, scary movies, you know, The Grudge, The Unholy, you know, shit I haven't seen either. Don't Breathe. And there's The Jungle Book, Crawl, Evil Dead 4, gosh. He's making that his life work. Oh, he did The Hudsucker. Funny shit too, I guess. Darkman, Time Cop, which was a cult. You know, blah, 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 blah. Let's see, I'll give you Spies Like Us, which was a cult too. Damn, he did that? All right, so he's littered in it, and he's doing Doctor Strange, Sam Raimi. So it's going to be very occult. And they keep pushing this multiverse because we are now access or have a gateway open to the quantum world where we now have a more personal feeling in our thought process. Let me try to give this to you right. We have more of a personal feeling in our process. So if I wanted to be that tow truck driver, you would understand and feel the concept and feel the lust. I want to be that guy. I'm gonna read the books. And then each time something happens, fuck it, that's why I want to be a tow truck guy. And you know, you feel a lust, and that lust is what keeps you driving and reading and going to the school and taking the shit and going through the internship, getting that first bullshit job and working hard to get a better one and more money than your own company, whatever the fuck. So now what you should feel is more of the actual victory. I've got the victory of what if you wanted to be that tow truck driver, you should, we're so used to feeling the reach for it, we are now in a place where we actually can feel the sensation of it. And feeling the sensation of it, you're in the moment. What you're actually doing now is reaching in to that data stream that's in you, because there is the multiverse version of you that made the choice a long time ago. How do you know you made the choice? Because it wouldn't be on your mind now in terms of wanting it if it wasn't in you at all. It's not in me to do certain things or further it down. It's actually all in you because it's too many things you've done, but further down in you than other things. In other words, being a gymnast or an Olympic swimmer is further down in me. What I would have to do to get there, to condition the mind and the body, would be harder, or a harder pull off the date to get out of the data stream than it is to become a tow truck driver or go get a pizza down at the Quickie Mart. That's easy shit. Doesn't take much to go in and get it. Think about it. You've eaten pizza before, and if you love it, like I do, New York, you know what it is. When you think, I want a pizza, because you can feel it. You could feel the cheese, the sauce. You had it so many times. You know what it feels, the texture, the heat, with the tomato, the little garlic, little red pepper, and whatever the fuck, your mama biscuits, and all the rest of that shit. You know it. That time is here. If you never physically driven a tow truck, that same feeling, you know, because you've eaten over 200, 400 goddamn slices of pizza, it'll be the same way. And with that, that means you can access the best parts of what it is you believe you are, i.e., that's how you shift into a golden age mentality. Most of our mentality is the old mentality that we have to go and kick and shake the tree for something to come down because that's what the white man has left us to do, which was always an illusion. But the illusion worked because of the age that we were in, this Iron Age. So the illusion worked easier, along with the house we were in at the time of Pisces, which has become a, how could you say, well, the age of Pisces was belief. So along with belief and him and him making his image the icon of what we believed in, anything he told us and how to obtain it is what we made our reality. It's time to get off of that. That time is over. It's time to internalize because these powers are in you. And if you take a moment to breathe and realize and line up the feeling or the idea of what you would feel like as a tow truck driver, that's how these things will come like this. That's how, and again, like I said, you need your credentials, your CPA, your IPA, your OPA, whatever, to actually get a job. That ain't changed. It's still the white man's shit. But your ability to obtain on your part what it takes to learn it, what it takes to become it, what it takes to call yourself a tow truck, because you could drive tow trucks, you just may not have those credentials, but you still may learn how to, like those kids, learn how to do it. So to see yourself as that ain't got nothing to do with credentials. To get a job doing it, you may need credentials. That's what it is. I don't know how to do that quicker. You just do what you do. But to see yourself as whatever you choose, we are in that time period. We cannot use the old calf methodology. We have to step on that mountain from a new perspective. What they did when the information age came into being, you started seeing Black folks coming up speaking on this lecture circuit. That was VHS tapes going around the country in the beginning. What white folks did was put the internet in full effect, and both were, is how they counteracted information. It became the dominant force of information, if for no other reason, so your ass didn't become the dominant force of information. You're just buried in the sea of other subject matter. And they took their time, but what they did was get you to see information as just mindless bullshit. You know, what you do on Instagram, YouTube, where you have the entire world at your fingertips, but it's all about who fell off, who was trying to swing into a lake with a rope and the rope broke. It's all about ridiculousness. So this, because what they did with the information of the internet and gave you the mentality of ridiculousness, when you now look at our information, you hear a bunch of niggas in the chat room with ridiculousness. They now even see our information as stupid entertainment, just like they see the actual internet, just a place for entertainment. So when they opened it up, they just kept putting out the rumors. Yeah, we got a lot of information, but people just keep looking at porn. You know, people. So they gave you in your mind, even though you weren't even doing it, they kept telling you, oh, it's just a place for porn. Oh, porn numbers are out of control. Even though now you know that they take artists, fudge the numbers, fake the likes, fucking Nicki Minaj with 200 million fucking followers. Meanwhile, 200 million people don't even listen to music in this world, goddamn. And especially not hers. So these numbers are made up. And they just, so why would you think they're telling you these porno numbers are made up? So you can have the reputation put in your head that the internet is nothing more than a place of stupidity and a place to really do research, secondly. And again, you want to research as much as you can on whatever subject. No one source, because books are nothing more than just the internet written form. So the same people who write web pages are the same, 9 times out of 10, the same caliber of the person who wrote a book. Maybe the person who wrote the book writes the book based upon a little bit more credentials. But even then, it doesn't matter. If they're stupid, no matter what credentials they have, if they're racist, no matter what credentials they have, if they have a Khadijah calling, if they have a certain disposition, hold on. Cool. All right. If they have a certain, let me see. Getting this shit correct for you guys. If they have a certain disposition, no matter how scholarly they are, and they keep that ignorant disposition, or they choose to lie to you for whatever reason, just ego or just somebody paid them, you're fucked because you choose not to do it yourself. You choose not to be active and believe in what you could come up with and satisfy yourself with it. Looking for approval or whatever who the fuck knows? But it's time out for that. It's time out. You know what I'm saying? What, you are coming for me? What do you think? This shit is mad suspect. Suspect. So there's another movie about this y'all need to check out. Let me show you what this look like. This look like a something. Yeah. All right, so this right here, finding everything but what the fuck I need. Where you at? There you go. All right, so let me share this motherfucker. All right, so this movie here, a must see. Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. An incredible, good feeling movie about the multiverse. Very scientific, in cinemas, and a must see. Incredible. It dealt with a lot. I mean, and I'll just show you another picture from it so you can see where this shit was going. You know, she put her third eye on her head. I mean, she went right through it. She put her third eye on her head and you know, it was on and cracking, and from there, all this science went on. So let's get to some of this. So in the movie, she's having there's some spoilers, having a humdrum life with her husband, and her husband from another multiverse comes and talks about how their daughter is running amok. She became a monster based upon her doing the same shit as Jet Li in The One. Pretty much getting all her lives under one umbrella, ultimately to go through this gateway to experience the true death. And I only watched it once. If I watch this twice, it's really over. Excellent fucking movie. The mother, I don't want to give too much of it away because you should see this and enjoy it. The mother ultimately realizes through the movie, it's about rectifying situations. There's things she's done in different lifetimes that's fucked people over. So the one act that she was dealing with from her observational point of view rectify all the other lives. Meaning, if there's an imbalance in you here now, in your observation, if you were to pull from your database, that imbalance doesn't go away, which we know that. You have to deal with the imbalance. And the imbalance was with her daughter. So you see her correct, when she put her third eye, you see her correcting her daughter, and it reverberates through the multiverse. You also see her doing technique through ritual to access different powers she had that were in her. They were just calling it the multiverse, of course, but she was accessing these powers that were in her to deal with what she was observing in the moment, and so on and so forth. They showed how Khadijah calling. They also showed how we're interconnected, or she was interconnected with her soulmate through other lifetimes, even though they made different choices. So all of those choices, they're really showing you what's internal and what's on the data stream, but they show in this movie how she's living it out, ultimately how she balances it out, which is what I want y'all to pay attention to when you watch it. And what they were saying about the daughter, and the daughter ready to end all of these dimensions, all of these multiverses, but the work itself is what you observe. She was ready, the daughter was ready to stop observing, and why the mother brought her back from it. So watch the movie. Excellent fucking movie about the multiverse, but yet again, I don't, like I said, I don't want to give too much of it away, but I could do a whole tape on it. It's that profound. I would do that after I studied it more though, but really stood out. And it's really talking about a lot of the stuff I was telling you is happening in the ethers. That anger shit, you can't be that. That bitter shit, you can't be that. You have to be able to let shit go, be patient, so on and so forth. That's the star of that movie, the woman, shows you the mentality we need to have moving into this new reality. And because it comes from the same Illuminati section as the one, I think it's China or Japan, whichever one, because it comes from that same, it's the same story as the one, just a little bit tweaked. And meaning when you see that, they're trying to make a point about something. And they're making this point again now in this movie, everything, all that, everything, everywhere, all at once. They're making a point in this movie because exactly of what I'm talking about. We are in the time where this shit is relevant. You have now entered the multiverse. Spider-Man entered the multiverse. This was a celebration to let Stan Lee through that gateway, but they're also making a statement that this quantum world or this quantum gateway is opening. Now you go in with your thoughts and pull the reality you want here until we're out of here. It's big shit. So you can no longer afford to think in survivor mode, dog. It's over. You think in survivor mode, you standing at the base of that mountain making a golden calf at this point. You're doing old shit. It's almost like trying to figure out something in your head when your phone is in your hand. That's what we now know to Google everything. You're almost stupid if you're not using Google to find out some basic shit. What time the flight is, what time the train leaves. Oh, I think it said 4 o'clock. Or you just look it up. What's the address? Is it 58 or 85? I don't know. Let's call them and look on the paper. Go upstairs. No, go and Google it. Because you know it would be absolutely stupid. You doing old shit in an age when we have these tools. So this shit has evolved into a new playing ground for us. A quantum gateway is open, and you can pull easier with your mind. Your mind is the all, baby. Get to work, sassy. So we have entered the multiverse. If you niggas are fucking around with this hope shit, we as a people, we as black people, y'all niggas is gonna die with that bullshit. That's not what it's about. This shit is about you as a fucking individual, your fucking responsibility and what you need to do. Now that's on you. I don't hold you to a standard. You need to hold yourself to a higher standard. If you hiding with this family and community bullshit, let it be known you hiding that shit. Because when you don't do shit, you get to say black people ain't doing shit. When you don't do shit, you get to say, see, that's what's wrong with the family. No, it's your ass that ain't doing shit. It's your ass that don't know to do shit. I don't give a fuck if you a speaker, a host, any of that shit. You can fake all you want, nigga. But your body and your subconscious don't lie. You don't know. And you don't have to admit it to me. What I'm challenging people is to admit it to themselves on their own time. I don't need, yeah, Patty, what you was, I don't give a fuck about that. I may be 100% wrong, but that's your decision. That's your decision. All right, so now, something we also need to talk about is the war. Now let's talk about this first. Let's go to our trusty Mind Control 101 book. I'm gonna read you something, niggas, out of this book. Of course, this is our joint Mind Control 101 by Dandelion Jones. How to influence the actions, the thoughts and actions of others without them knowing or caring. And this is actually my second version of this book because I beat the other one up to death, because this is a hell of a reference book to understand a lot of what goes on, period, but a lot of what goes on in the Hotepisphere. But this is an aspect of the Hotepisphere I want to deal with. And this is the section on page 180, Cult Mind Control, Tactics and Strategies. I want y'all to hear this because I want y'all to understand the concept or the textbook concept of cult mind control. And y'all need to understand that, guess what? Y'all niggas is in a cult. There is a levels, and there's the levels where niggas is doing this. There's the levels where niggas is doing this. There's the levels where niggas is taking Kool-Aid and doing this. There's a level where Charles Manson got a nigga going and doing this. And then there's a level of religion which is a cult. And then there's a level of Hotep niggas, which is a cult. It's just not, the cult leader becomes the social structure as opposed to the individual. Not to say that certain individuals ain't cult leaders. Certain individuals, people don't follow like cult leaders, even if they haven't called themselves that. So again, so I'll be clear, so you niggas' feelings ain't hurt for the reasons your feelings hurt because you're in the cult. But let's pretend you can't figure that one out. So I won't call your cult leader a cult leader. I'll say that people follow him like a cult leader. You think I'm bullshitting? Say something bad about Noble Drew Ali, say something bad about Elijah Muhammad, say something bad about Dr. York, and many others. I could go down that list. Say something bad about it. So I'm not necessarily saying, for you stupid niggas, that they are cult leaders. But I am saying, you niggas, a lot of you niggas, not all you niggas, a lot of you niggas follow them like cults. Father Allah, they follow them like cults. Are they cult leaders? No, I'll say no. But do they follow it? Because there's a cult mentality that we have. And most people think it can't happen to them because they hear about the David Koresh cults, they hear about the Kool-Aid cults, but they don't realize they're doing the same thing. If you're on 125th Street dressed up like a Ninja Turtle, nigga, guess what, nigga? Guess what? Let's look at some of textbook definition. There's a guy named Stephen Hassan. He's an author. He made Combating Cult Mind Control. He describes a model of cult mind control with an acronym called BITE, B-I-T-E, which stands for control over behavior, information, thoughts, and emotions. Behavior, information, thoughts, and emotions. To control one or all of these aspects are the pathway for a cult leader to take control of a mind who's prepped and ready for this action. And most of you niggas are. You need to believe from a nigga who could start a cult, who has more integrity and more self-esteem. I've said from day one, I've said from day two, and I say up until today, 10 years later, never follow me any fucking where. I do not like you. I don't consider you a family member. I don't consider me in a community. I don't consider us a community. I consider you an individual who is here for information. You take that information and you do as thou wilt. And you say goodbye to me. I am not your boss. I am not better than you. Anything I teach, you can learn and much greater. I am not special. I am not more special than you. I am special to me and my family. But to you, I may be special because of the information I bring, but let's leave it there. I am not special than you because of that, because the information I bring, you now own as well. And you could do with it what you choose to make it wisdom and understanding for you. I've always said it and continue to say it. That's why ain't nobody hanging around here doing shit. Ain't no second pussy around here. None of it. The stupidity of it is beneath me. But the information share, I'm about that goddamn shit. But I do know and understand and see how easily manipulated and controlled most folks are. You're prepped for it. White people taught you it all your life. You've been following white folks as a cult leader all your life. Jesus is the ultimate cult leader. And though you've given up your church goings, You haven't given up the psychological mind control of it. The motif is what they call it. The architecture is what they call it. The framework is what they call it. The basic programming of religion hasn't been out of you. Therefore, when you find new information, you fit the new information into the same form fitted mentality you've already been prepped for as a cult follower of Christianity, Catholicism, or whatever else it is. And we're going to see right now if I'm making that up. So let's start with number one, behavior. Behavior is described as the regulation of one's physical and mental reality. A new recruit is encouraged to repeatedly squelch his or her critical thinking skills and gut instincts in return for group approval and inclusion. Oh, that is the whole teposphere. You are now no longer an individual. In fact, it starts with saying words like Hotep, beloved, peace be unto you, special greetings, oh beloved, and all of this bullshit. You're starting to change your behavior to suit a group or a class or a culture. So where you would normally just say hi or greet that person as the individual, you go into the performance of hello. There's plenty of times I call hello. Hey man, well, hello. Who's this? Panic. Oh, brother, peace, beloved, in Hotep and or the Budagani and Ashana Kalawasana Ushanaka. Like, nigga, what the fuck? You just was saying, what up, nigga? Then there was a girl from my neighborhood at the time wanted to talk to, I think, Miss Blue or somebody. And okay, bye. Oh, I mean, peace, beloved queen, such and such. It's a performance. So how you would normally think and say goodbye, you are now starting to regulate yourself into these Hotep greetings as a way of letting people know. And of course, it gets deeper with your critical thinking and gut instincts because that goes level, which you have now seen on YouTube, where these young kids no longer think for themselves, can no longer see what's absolutely right in front of them as fucking idiotic, low self-esteem, egotistical madness. They can no longer critically think, and their gut instincts letting them know that this is a fucking moron that I'm sitting in front of no longer is valid. And we can't understand it because it's not conducive with what we think our mind control is. Because whatever the person who's judging it believes in, the same person judging the individual young, the 24-year-old or the 24-year-old guy or girl who's following some leader somewhere. Oh, that poor motherfucker. Oh, that sorry, sad, poor child. She needs Jesus. You know, my cult leader. Or the other, she needs to be conscious. She ain't really conscious. Oh, you mean your cult scenario, which is still your cult leader in a different, it's just not a guy. And 9 times out of 10 is a guy that you're getting your information from because ain't nobody reading this shit no more. All right, so under the behavior control, you have a few bullet points. Where, how, with whom recruits live and associate with. Now, on the whole teposphere level, is just, you'll hear, you know, fuck them humans, the humans are dead. I can, you know, I fuck with conscious people only. And then, you know, when you want to see a nigga start a cult, and I told you this before, they'll start this way. because they're doing this to us, they're doing that, they're putting this in the food, this and that. The only way out of it, we got to live off the grid. So then you got a whole bunch of motherfuckers who can't cope with life. And then you got a nigga who they hear this story from talking about living off the grid. So for whatever, they get attracted to him, the charisma, and you don't even need much these days. All you have to do is be on fucking YouTube, somebody just needs to interview you, and you're in. You know what I'm saying? And once you're in now, and you're somehow attracting people, you're talking that good shit. They'll ask you a direct question, you never answer it directly. You have to make it seem like there's so much more to you. So if somebody said, "What's up with the moon?" Oh, the cosmology of lunar transmorphic asphyxiation in a 28-day cycle of waning and waxing, known and unknown, full and invisible, is the universal coagulum, disarium, coagulant versus evaporation, birth and death cycles, which is why you get the word lunar and lunatic. Like, this motherfucker must be deep. And he's talking about living off the grid. So what he's doing while he's doing these interviews and getting as much attention as he could is collecting viewers who are willing to do much more. How do you get them? Where do these viewers who are willing to do much more come from? Where they come from abuse. They are exactly what all predators look for. When Charles Manson was in court, they asked him, "Where are you finding these kids to do this?" He said, "You send them to me. You make them at home." And what he was talking about is every runaway, every kid that comes to California, or the pimp catching them at the bus station. If a young girl is at a bus station, she's either running away or coming to the city to be famous. So all dude has to do is catch her, see what it is in her eyes, and find out her story. I had to leave that fucked up town I was in. Really? Tell me about it. And then what he's really doing is bleeding her for the type of abuse she went through. Was it mother? Was it father? Was it sexual? Was it neglect? Was it low self-esteem? It always leads to low self-esteem, so you got to play with that. So now this pimp has to figure out a fine way to be the same abuser, because most abusers, you're trying to still please. You please them so they don't abuse you, so they get into a good mood. My father, who was a regular father, I wouldn't say he was abusive, but he come home from work, you better have his hamburger helper on the table. But what calmed him down was chess. We would bust our ass to play chess with him just to keep him calm. To this day, I can't even play the game no more. It was such a sellout thing we used to do to keep him calm. So studying it in hindsight, what you're doing is a tactic of surviving. Now, if he was more abusive and demanded more things, most abusive kids are doing that. That's how you make beta kids, them beta boys. So that's why you get beta boys standing around doing beta boy shit. I can't say it's all the time, but that's a grand deal way of getting there. The father's ego, or he's so aggressive, the son cannot express any form of his true masculinity in the house. Not necessarily gay, but he's always getting that look like this nigga's a homo because he has a feminine quality about himself. And beta, you'll see brothers who are close in age, but the second brother, a little bit more beta-y, because the first one is going to take dominance, or may switch around. The second one may be just a wilder ass nigga. You know what I'm saying? And there may be two alphas and run their own shit. I've seen that too. You know what I'm saying? But there's that possibility. I've seen that beta based upon he has to bow down to his brother. Now, pimps, what they're trying to do is hone in on the abuse. So if the mother abused the girl is looking for nurturing, and she's trying to stay away from abuse. So the pimp puts up with the bottom bitch, and the bottom bitch gets in her ear. Oh, he's okay. All you got to do is this and do that. I'm going to show you the ropes. I'm going to show you how to roll. And then you'll see, and you could actually see it. There's a documentary, look for Pimpin' Snooky. He was on Pimps Up, Hoes Down. He's the one walking with the chicks on the leash, or they was walking with their heads bowed down. He's done a documentary, and you see him actually breaking a new hell on his video. She didn't take the program, but you'll see him doing things to his bottom bitch in front of the new girl, so she can have a psychological makeup what to expect in terms of his abuse. If she doesn't run out the door, what he's gauging is how far he could go with her before she starts calling her brothers or rejects or bucks. So he's got to show it the discipline through the other women. So he's putting her with the bottom chick, she's showing him the ropes. Now, if she's abused from his father, or he has to become his daddy. Yes, daddy. Yes, daddy. Most people are trying to still appease, and as I pointed out, please their folks. So if he's psychological, guys do it all the time. I told you, as soon as you meet a new girl, tell me about your last boyfriend. I hated him. Why'd you hate him? Because, and she'll tell you a whole laundry list of all the shit he did that made her mad. And all you got to do is sit there and go, what? What kind of nigga does that? That's some bitch ass shit. Who the fuck does that? He don't like to walk on the beach. Who the fuck don't like to walk on the beach? We should go walk on the beach right now. You're so wonderful. And then after you hit it, why have you changed? No, you told me how to get the pussy, pretty much. And that's nigga game. So now if you take it to the pimp level, he's not looking at how to get the pussy. He's looking at what it has her sitting in front of me through the pathway of abuse. And without knowing it, you are, like I said, the chess game, you are absolutely still trying to appease your parents. Don't tell Khadijah I said this, but I constantly see where her mom's was a neat freak. So I constantly see how this antagonizes Khadijah just a little bit. You should be neat, and that's the justification. What's the answer? You should be more dirty. You can never say that. So no one could ever argue with you about OCD. No one could ever argue about having a hotel level showroom type of place to live in. What are you going to say? Nah, sometimes you can just throw a shirt on the couch. No, you can't. Why? Shirts belong in the closet. You can't really argue with that. And so there is no argument for it. She has no argument for it. And I could see where this was passed down. And there's a certain amount of, which is not different from anybody else. I felt when my father came to my apartment, yeah, nigga, now what? Why? I still feel if my mother seen the way I was now, she was still alive, she would be like, good job, nigga, good job. Even though we're not talking spiritually, we're just talking from the physical aspect. Good job, nigga. My father would like, way to go. I like what you did with your boys. Or maybe you should have did that with your boys. Whatever. You just feeling that they're still watching. It's psychological. So the pimp or the cult leader, which is a pimp, is honing in on that psychological shadow self that you are not aware of. Well, let's keep it going. Under behavior control, what clothing, colors, hairstyles to wear. That is the whole teposphere. There was a time where if you had a perm, you couldn't be conscious. That's just the standard today. I did a lecture. I don't think it was a whole lecture, but Chris Rock's movie Good Hair came out, and he went where they get, they say I got to weave in. This is real hair. You know what I'm saying? He said, let's see where that real hair comes from. And it went back to India to a temple where everyone who walks through this temple, thousands of people, shave their head off. That's a part of the ritual of this temple. And that hair goes to America in weaves. But the people in India who are shaving off their hair says, we are sacrificing our hair to the gods. And the gods are the regular nappy-headed hoe in Harlem, Queens, Atlanta. I can go on for days. Little Rock. That's right. I'm talking to you, Elnora, with your nappy-headed ass. My girl from Little Rock. So I pointed out, yeah, the gods get this here. The gods are us in America. Done. It did a big deal for knocking that bullshit stereotype that you must have dreads and all that shit. Now, chemicals in your hair are chemicals, and you have to deal with that accordingly. You are putting chemicals in your hair, and you will suffer for that. Does it inhibit your brain and your mind physically? Why wouldn't it? But can you get past it and be conscious with a perm? Absolutely. We've seen it too many times. So in other words, what I was trying to do was break out of this goddamn box that niggas are in. Because this box gives way to the stupidity that you see now, even more prevalent today. Maybe not. Maybe it was just always happening. Usually with the physical cults, how much financial dependence recruits are to have on the group, what percentage of recruits' income collected for the group's purposes. You see that in church. You see that with cult leaders, and you see niggas bragging about that on YouTube, how much users is just giving them of their savings, I imagine, if it's even true. Because saying that gives you a mentality for the next person that comes in to feel if they do come in, they have to come that way, even though none of them may not have given it, but each one thinks the others have, which makes me able to say you're slacking because no one knows what anybody else is giving. So anybody new comes, feels this is how they have to come. So keep telling them, he gave me 50, he gave me 60, he gave me $70, says something. Or in church, give me 10% of your tithes. All right, so behavior control is put into effect. Recruits respond and react accordingly. The recruits. So now we know behavioral control is absolutely what the civil rights movement is, what Black Lives Matter is. So America is one cult. Behavior control is a Christian shouldn't act like that. That's not Christian-like. What would Jesus do? Do what Jesus does. You know what I'm saying? I give up. Or Jesus take the wheel. Same things. So we know it in that level. But is behavioral control in the Hoteposphere? Go on YouTube and say you're the holiest man, Hotep, beloved. Boy, oh boy, I'm about to eat me a slab of ribs after I get through with this. Panic eat ribs. You know what I'm saying? Like, they'll see me eat candy and all sorts of shit, soda. But then when I say I haven't eaten beef since 1980, no, beef since 91, pork since 1988 or 89. Before you niggas was conscious wasn't even a word you were using, which we need to really examine that today too. You niggas wasn't even thinking about shit back then. You niggas just stopped eating beef 3-4 fucking years ago. And let me tell you, I didn't do it for spiritual purpose. I just stopped doing it. Well, I didn't do it for any physical idea of spiritual purpose. My spirits didn't want to eat it anymore, and it didn't. Remember, behavioral control, which food and drinks are accepted and respected. Is there a 4 or a 9 on that organic fruit? Meanwhile, on Netflix, there's documentary after documentary after documentary of how fake the fruit is and the vegetables are, organic or no. I get that you're making the best possible choice in this goddamn hellhole. But again, let's not kid ourselves, because we tend to kid ourselves and believing we got something different. No, you are here and you're down here. The only way out of this motherfucker is moving beyond it. You're not going to miss it down here. You came down here to mix it up and get into the dysfunction. The point is getting out of the dysfunction here. That's how you strengthen your mind. That's the point. To be able to harness the strength in your mind to be clear on what you are within this madness. And you can't do that following anybody. Unwittingly, relinquish decision. All right. So you relinquish your personal decision-making process and go to the group to determine minor and major life decisions. What would the Hoteppers do? I usually would do that, but I can't do it. Why don't you watch? Here's a good one. Why don't you watch TV? I don't watch TV anymore. You don't have to, and I get it, but why? Because it's just a Hotep thing to do. There's really no thing, because there's so much stupid shit on TV. No, there's smart shit on TV. You can watch nature shows all day and get educated. You can watch public access and get educated. You know what I'm saying? You could watch the bullshit and if you are educated and have educated yourself outside the means of TV, which you should be doing, you should be able to see and study it for what it is. To be able to see what it is being said in the mind control being used on you so you can overcome it. So you not watching TV, to me, is putting your head in the sand in this day and age. No, I'm here to experience all that, but that's me. I'm here to experience. If you're not here to do it, don't do it. But again, you can't decide if you don't have the information. So because you already relinquished your decision-making process, because you've already got the skinny on how this culture goes, your behavior is dictated and you color in those lines. Peace be unto you, beloved, and Brother Panic, and it's been an honor. Nigga, knock it off. You got to take power in your own personal decisions again. It's time out for that. And again, if you're looking at, of course, if you have a personal cult leader, you already know the story. Most of this is written for the personal cult leader. I'm just trying to show the correspondence. Truthfully, I could go to the social influence and get more out of the Hotep sphere if I was really dealing with that. But we need to deal with cult mind control these days, because now we see how blatantly we're suffering from this ignorance. Motherfuckers following motherfuckers. Then motherfuckers so entertained by information now because of the internet that they're not even they're looking at this shit as not as the tragedy it is, not as they're looking at these characters like reality TV stars. And these are these people's fucked up fucking lives. Shit, even reality TV stars got these fucked up lives that we tend to look at as forms of entertainment now. Crashing and burn motherfuckers. Motherfucking angry animal motherfuckers. Drink throwing savages. What are you coming for me? You are not coming for me. You do not want this heat. You are very suspect. Very suspect. Swanky Jerry. Swanky fucking Jerry. These are real people that we now make jest of. When we watch shows like Ridiculousness, we're watching someone get hurt. Damn near 80% of what we see is someone falling or getting hurt, and we find jest in it now. It is not even goddamn. We just give that fake shit. Do not send in anything. We won't even watch them. Don't be a jackass. You know, we're the only jackasses. Don't send your jackass shit. The mere fact that you have to send a warning, do not be a jackass. Leave it to the jackasses. Shows you who the real jackasses are. You're required to report all doubts about the group, perceived negative thoughts, personal feelings, and extreme activities to their supervisors. So for us, it's the gossip level. You know what I'm saying? When somebody's fucking up and did a YouTube, people just hang around and wait to report to each other. Oh, look what Panic did, and look what he said, and that's what he's doing, and this one did that, and that one did this, and this one did that. And of course, to the cult leader, it's the cult leader. This bitch ain't acting right. Undergoing endless cycles of verbal and physical abuse, then being praised and rewarded. We've seen that on YouTube live. Praise and reward, physical abuse. When husbands do that to their wives, it's called battered wife syndrome. That's pimping and hoeing 101 too. You bring them money, you's a good bitch doing what you're supposed to be doing out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? You're a wise hoe. You know what I'm saying? Listening to instructions. You know what I'm saying? You ain't doing what you's doing. It's lazy bitches like you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't be in this camp. You think you up for it? You know what I'm saying? And you can't be coming around here telling me you're trying to do what you need to do, and you sitting around and you bring them a little skinny money like this. So that puts them in a mode where they're always trying to please them, and pleasing them is bringing them more money. They suck more dick and do more because they're still trying to please their father. Ain't that right, daddy? They're still trying to please their dad. All right, so let's see. Information control. As the cult leader, yeah, but we know we deal with our level of information, and that there's very few things that are injected outside of it, especially in the lesser Hoteposphere of speakers. They're just copying what they think is going to sell. You know, their shea butter talk, their zodiac talk, their numerical talk, you know, and not to say those things aren't needed. Those things aren't valid. Just saying, what else you got? And maybe there is nothing else, you know what I'm saying? But what it does do, it puts us in a bubble of information that can be manipulated and make you a part mentality of a group mind control. So deception, delivery, withholding information from recruits or new prospects, meaning, you know, that's usually the cult leader. He's not going to tell them everything there is. But then the Hoteposphere, they do it too, because they always got to make you feel that they know something else, that you haven't heard their whole story. So you'll hear, oh, that's another lecture for another time. Oh, there's got to be we got to do a part 2 to this. I just can't get it out. Or the magneticists crying and say, oh, the English language is so hard. It's like, you know, I'm trying to do it, but, you know, there's so much more. And what you're really doing is deliberately withholding information from the recruit. You could just say it, whatever. So they're like, I got to stick with this guy because there's just so many layers that I haven't gotten to. You get what I'm saying? You could also distort information to make it more appear more acceptable. So, I've seen people say things because, it fits into the scheme of melanin. Oh, he wants to do it because he got melanin. Oh, he must say, oh, he got melanin. Oh, he's got melanin. So he's good to go. Oh, you don't worry about it. You got melanin. So it's the true discomfort in the information is what they must do to activate some of these higher aspects of their melanin, besides the physical aspect of it, looking cute and being able to dance real funky, is they'll distort it and just say, you're good. You got the melanin, you're already driving in the Cadillac, to make you in the Hoteposphere feel more acceptable at what you're doing, because you're not doing anything but being in the Hoteposphere, following behind cats who got something to sell you, even if it's their own ego, even if they're not selling nothing physical, just you sitting around listening to, worried about their story. What's happening with such and such? Where's she at? Why she ain't on the live? I just seen people typing this shit and going, this is not even information anymore. They just want to see, and they're waiting till it crashes and burns. And then when it does, aha, you live while they taking you live while they bringing your ass in, and motherfuckers on the live. Aha, I knew it. Told you, motherfucker. See, you don't look. Why you ain't saying you a god now? Why you saying you a god now? It's like they were waiting for it. Who are these people? Are they information seekers? Are they just niggas who are entertained by this shit, just like they're entertained by Tyler Perry's House of Pain? It's the same shit to them. Maury Povich, same shit as whatever these niggas got going on. It's fucking ridiculous, man. Okay, the last one is outside. Well, thoughts. I'm gonna keep going with this shit. All right, so here's something I got. All right, so levels of information. All right, leaders are seen as possessing what Lifton calls, I guess that's another author he must reference. Is that the same guy? Who knows that? I don't think that's the same guy he referenced. Made the bite. No. A guy named Lifton, I guess. He called it sacred science. We've heard that one before, right? Or having the ability to decipher and interpret doctrines, philosophies, etc., in a way that no one else has done or ever could do. So leaders are seen as possessing what Lifton calls sacred science. So to be a true cult leader, or to be a true YouTube phenomenon, you have to make it seem like you have a knowledge or a sacred science that no one could quite get or access. Again, as I pointed out, it comes in vocabulary, big vocabulary words, and it comes in, you just ain't getting it. That mentality. And this has you following the person. So what's a clear indication this is happening? As I pointed out, no references. No, well, I got it here. So if I say the frequency of cancer operates at 32 megahertz, which I don't know, 32 megahertz, and health operates at 184, 435 megahertz, blah, blah, blah. Those flat facts have to be from a source of information somewhere. I just didn't remember that. no matter how good you think you are. You didn't. You read that somewhere, you studied that from a source somewhere. If that person at least doesn't tell you, you can read that in this book, that book, or I got that from this guy, or I was studying that back then, but you can see it for yourself here, then he is bullshitting you. She is bullshitting you. They want you to believe they have the sacred science of having the ability to decipher and interpret doctrines, philosophies, etc., in a way that no one else has done or can ever do. Right. I don't want to really talk about that. Don't want to talk about that. Thought control, a little bit. Us against them. All or none mentality. Good against evil mentality. We're the good melanated people of the world. This vicious cave bastard. Good against evil, of course. Meanwhile, in all the occult sciences and all the studies, your true enemy, your greatest enemy in the fucking movie Revolver is yourself. You're your worst enemy. You're your greatest enemy. And truthfully, you're your only enemy. But it's still us righteous people against this evil, savage cave dweller Tamahu. And on a level, yeah, because they have an agenda, just like monkeys have an agenda. Monkeys want bananas. They don't give a fuck that you live in that neighborhood. Bananas, bitch. So y'all might clash because y'all have different philosophies on reality or how you see reality. But at the end of the day, you got to graduate past that and understand who the true enemy is. But that ain't gonna happen because you're in a cult, son. Consciousness is a cult, whether you believe it or not. You have to get out the cult mentality. It's time out for it. It's time for individual thought and individual access to this thing, and your individual interpretation should reign supreme. It's us against them, inside versus outside. So in the physical cult, everybody in the house is us against everybody nowadays on YouTube saying, this ain't shit, y'all fucking up, you poor kids. I'm fine, everything's good, we live in whatever they making up. But another great example of this was Tupac. Tupac used to get on BET early on and start talking about how they won't let him do this. They trying to stop him. They doing this. Then you only have one album out. Who the fuck are they? They ain't gonna let us speak. You know how they do. They'll never let us do that. They don't never lose. Before you even get to the they part, which we still can question, it's this idea that Black people accept that something or a force is against them. So as soon as somebody says there's a force against us, you automatically jump on their side because you feel there's a force against you. So Tupac was rallying Black people up by saying they're trying to stop me. Then you automatically became a fighter for them. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear niggas saying real shit. And this is before he became Tupac. This is some of the stuff he did early on. That yeah, they trying to do this. I'm in court right now, and this and that, and this and that, and the other thing. All right. Loaded language. We talked a little bit about adopting loaded language. That's a big one. Adopting loaded language, characterized by thought-terminating cliches. Hotep, beloved, Ashe. While you think you're using words that expanded your vocabulary consciousness and your mind, it's actually words that limit your thought into a box. You're not thinking of anything. You're staying in one box in this goddamn group mentality. You're not even figuring out the best way to say hello for you, Hotep. I started saying no tep. Everyone's saying no tep as a way, as a way. The understanding is not just to be cute, like it's Maury Povich, you are the father. Maybe a part of that is to keep you interested in what I'm trying to get you to go get off training wheels and do yourself. But it's really to try to show you that this adopted, loaded language or this particular phrase, hotep, is not going to save you. It's thought terminating. It puts you in the box. People were saying hotep, and people, oh, he must be in the group. You don't know where the person's coming from, what they're about, if they truly mean harm to you or not. But if they say hotep, there was a certain point on Facebook, you could get pussy. Hotep queen, you getting some pussy. 5 minutes, that shit lasted, because these chicks started realizing, these beloved mother queen goddesses, almighty Arsets, started to realize these are the same old niggas they was fucking at the club. Just instead of saying, what's up, Pop? It's just instead of saying, what's up, Mom? You want to get down, want a little Hennessy or something? Hotep goddess, you are the most beautiful thing walking in this goddamn fez you got on. Oh, I'm gonna give him some pussy because he's a righteous brother. This nigga drunk, pissed on your blue rug, ate all the baby's fucking wick food. Oh, Patty, why is this happening? He had a fans when I met him. Yeah, nigga, because he hit you with loaded language. Oh, peace, oh, beyond, beloved, beyond to you. Hotep, Oshun, do a lecture about Oshun. You could check her out on Wikipedia these days. If you ain't got that understanding, I know there's a lot of new people coming, but all them same old lectures on the subject is up. If they were really into researching, they would find more than they would need from us internally that has dropped this. But they don't want it. They want to hear somebody keep repeating the shit new now. Patty, so can you explain this? Shit, I explained already. You know I explained it because that's why you're asking me to explain it. You just want to hear me talk about it like a preacher. And that's cult mentality. Or even if you don't want to call it cult mentality, it's the mentality you got to start breaking. You got to understand, this is information for you to run off on your own and get buck wild with on your own and come up with a configuration for you. You're trying to form fit into a configuration that is social. And you got niggas, what's up, beloved? What's up, fam? What's up, community? And all that. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you're here for. Just know there's a difference. No, I ain't never said none of that shit. I am not a part of it. I don't hold myself to the standard of it. I don't hold myself to the gossip of it. I just don't give a fuck, nigga. I'm here for the motherfucking individual scientist. And you can call it what you want. But I'm here to dispense information for motherfuckers to take it and do what they will with it. I don't have a concern after that. That's why you must have your own mind in this. Because no one is going to hold your hand unless they want to hold it to walk your ass to their pockets, to walk your ass to their dick and shit like that. Nobody's trying, as much as I can see, and I hope it is, and I hope I'm wrong, to walk you up to the door. And as Morpheus said, all I can do is walk you to the door. As a famous cowboy once said, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. That's the mentality here. And none of that statement alone supersedes what I'm telling you right now about cult mentality. Words are tools we use to think when these special words constrict rather than expand understanding. That's what we used to think with Hotep, beloved. See, if I said to you, hey, what's up, man? You'll say, if you were conscious, hey, what's up, man? But if I said, hey, Hotep, beloved, hey, brother Hotep, yeah. I seen your ankh, I seen your crystal. It becomes this tool. We get to have this conversation, but they constrict rather than expand our understanding. They keep us, and it's more than just Hotep. It keeps us in this box: melanin, pineal, kundalini, chakras. You've already have preconceived notions about that. You don't have an expanding understanding about your chakras. You think you got it. You think whoever and whatever person A, B, or C talked about, that's the story of it. But again, you need to go beyond person A, B, or C and become person A, B, and C on your own with your own understanding of it. You get what I'm saying? And you'll have an expansion and always be willing to learn more. Always have yourself. That's where you get the student and teacher sit in the same seat. Because with that mentality, you can always evolve and transform yourself, and you don't get into a constrictive mentality. So words now become constrictive because you see these words popping up over and over again, including the word fucking conscious at this point. They function to reduce complexities of the experience into trite buzzwords, thought-terminating cliches, and simplistic slogans to stop critical thinking. I'm unapologetically Pan-African, but if you ask 80 to 90% of the audience, what does Pan-African mean? Boom. Most people agreeing that they're unapologetically fucking stupid. They don't know what it means, what it entails, and even if they are that, or have such a small meaning that the word itself doesn't even capture how complex that could be. So it's regulated down to an argument online with the other side of Hotep. No critical questions about the leader, doctrine, or policies are seen as legit. So if someone says, as they always do now, consciousness is that, or the other thing, it doesn't break nobody. Nobody's like, you know that silly bitch who's a Christian? She was saying how bad consciousness was for Thomas. I'm gonna order something soon. She was saying how bad consciousness was, but guess what? You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna listen to her and become Christian again. That's not happening in consciousness. So, of course, the personal leader, no critique, no critical questions about the leader, doctrines, or policy are seen as legitimate. Think I'm lying? Be from the Nation of Islam and go in there and start asking questions about Elijah Muhammad, if you're under that lineage, or Farrakhan right now. I don't know why you got the bow tie on. I don't know what he said. It's kind of making me think. What'd you say about the teacher? Wear that fez and go, I don't think Noble Drew Ali was right on this. Because. What the fuck did you say? I don't think Tukey of the Crips were right. Fuck you say, cuz? I don't think such and such of the P Street Nation was right. Would you say, blood? You can't question no leader. So if you question, I don't know if consciousness is right for me, that's the humanity in you, son. Your humanity's talking. No alternative belief system is viewed as legitimate, good, or useful. And you've been manipulated with that through debates. That's your religious training. Not my God. My God is a good God. Not my president. Same stupid cult ass, I need to follow mentality. That's your problem. Emotional control allows cults to manipulate and narrow the range of the recruit's feelings. The objective of the cult is to make recruits think that any doubts about the group is their fault and never that of the leader or of the group. So anytime I have a question about consciousness, it's on me. It's not that, wait a minute, look at what you dumb niggas are doing. Look at what you dumb niggas are doing constantly. It's not about the group. And it's still about, look what they did to that poor guy. He never had a chance and he was going to be something special, but look what happened to him. Or maybe he wasn't special. Maybe he was full of shit the whole time and it just caught up with him. Maybe you just don't recognize he's full of shit because you're full of shit. And you're not full of shit on purpose. You're full of shit because you were filled with full of shit. You just don't know how to shake the shit. You think because you have a new dialogue, you shook the shit, but you got to shake it up here. Shake it up, baby. It's always misdirected back to the recruit, causing the recruit to internalize their doubts. Consciousness isn't serving us. And then there's guilt association. Cults induce large amount of guilt, typically in association with the follow. One of our big ones is your human and your human behavior, or selling out to the white man. Oh, so now you're going to go back to you're going to run back to the white man and let him know. Man, tell your real daddy. You know what I'm saying? Who you're affiliated with. In the cult, of course, they want you to affiliate with the members so they can reinforce the mind control. And here, you don't want to fuck with the humans, and the humans get you sick, and you don't like to talk to the humans. Social guilt, social status sometimes, but social status, you got a good job and all that shit. How you conscious? That nigga worked for this and worked for that, and he doing that, and he, you know what I'm saying? Conscious nigga wouldn't do that. They will work in the mailroom like me. All right, so fear induction. In order for guilt induction, cults must be able to instill fear in the followers. You get that. Fear of disapproval, fear of losing salvation, fear of being shunned, fear of enemies, white, this white devil, the Illuminati, invisible ass enemies that you've never really seen. White people, the system is our enemy. We know that. Let's not be stupid. But the general day-to-day white person that you taking it out for and rolling your eyes with, they ain't shit and they have no power. Fear of the outside world, that's more for internal, but the fear of the outside world for the Hotepper is just humanity and the vaccinations and all that, which is, you don't have to be feared of it. You just know what time it is and you don't do it. But you don't have to be scared of it. Most niggas are scared of it. And that's a different story. And that's because you have a cult mentality and you're trained to be feared of those things outside of what you now have determined as your safety zone. Consciousness is your daddy instead of the individual because you think you're deeper. Phobia indoctrination is the promoting of irrational fears of ever leaving the group or ever questioning the leadership of authority. Your spiritual protection will be gone. You turn away from consciousness, your family, you take off your crystals, you're subject to anything now. Arrest, whatever the humans go through, you no longer have your protection, your ankh, your hoteppery. And then personally, you can't visualize the future without the group. Those who leave are perceived as weak, undisciplined, unspiritual, worldly, brainwashed by their family, friends, or counselors, or the white man or the white power structure. All right. So that's a good framework of Mind Control 101, from Mind Control 101, about the cult mentality. So you can see how even being conscious can really soften your mind. Well, truthfully, religion softened your mind for a cult mentality. And the abuse is the hustle or the way in to the mind. Everyone wants that family. My boy was telling me how he's in a motorcycle gang now. He's this motorcycle gang, and he's learning about that culture. And I forgot what he called it, but there's a standard level of gang, and then there's the Hell's Angels level, which is, there's a name for them, one rogue or one something. And pretty much there's a whole rule system. You can't, they'll kill you, you get shot to get initiated. The other people just hang out, drive, and drink beers. And what he said he noticed was how much everyone needed a place or a family or a way to belong. People who go skating, that's a family, place. It's a natural thing in which they also deal with in this book. Let me see if I can find the chapter real quick. Appealing to, I think it's this, page 120, appealing to basic human responses. And they talk about, is it that one? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah, it's like I think it's that, where they talk about the things that every human wants, the general things, to be recognized, to be included, to have a purpose, or to be felt like they have a purpose or a point. So that's why we tend to pick groups, because it gives us a purpose or a family feeling, because most of our physical families are all fucked up. So when you get to choose your family, it's usually, I'm in the rap community, I'm in the skating community, I'm in the jump rope community, boxing community, gymnasts, whatever the fuck it is you like or you do. But any of that is actually where you can be prepped to be in a cult. And that's what we have to understand about how the mind works. And if you understand that, we tend to frown and look upon those who become victims of these kids who are standing there, and you're like, I don't know how they're doing it. You're looking from your perspective. But now, for me meeting so many people across the country, so many vulnerable minds, I can see how it becomes the responsibility of the person standing in front of all of these young minds to be an absolute, I can't say absolute pure heart, but you better have some fucking integrity to do it. And now I absolutely positively get what Bobby Hemmett was talking about a lot of the times. He was talking about and kept pointing out to me about the importance of having the integrity, because you will get in a position of dominance. And if your ego is out of control, which is another thing he used to put a lot of inference with me personally as he talked through the years, he would emphasize about the ego as we had personal conversations, because it's so tricky, and people come through the door trying to manipulate my ego because they feel it's a way to have a conversation. Oh, Panic, you're the greatest and you're the most wonderful in the world and you saved my life and no one does it like you. Let me ask you a question, because they want to ask that question, but of course they're going to put all of that thinking, well, yeah, I am the best. What is your question so I can give you my wisdom? I don't fall that way or that weak, but many people do. Many people do and have. And you get a taste of that power, a taste of that YouTube advertising money, then anything goes. And we're prepped for it based upon religion, because they must make this planet a whole cult mind control. What they're putting out fires with are the individuals who say, wait a minute, I could do something with this. Instead of just pimping 14 girls and getting a handful of money, why don't I take my pimp game bigger and create a community? So you got a nigga talking, we need to live off the grid, as I started to talk about. We need to live off the grid and do our thing off the grid. And then you get a bunch of, he identifies who the hardcore followers will be, and those who are fucking with him. The hardcore followers, all he has to do is say, look, all we need to do is come together, get the money up, get a piece of land. We all could live, grow our own shit. You know what I'm saying? You move all your children down here with your baby mama. We live on the property in the big house. So you thinking of no rent. So you don't mind giving up your money. You're not using any money. You're planting seeds and eating. Going to Whole Food, let him get it until you get enough seeds to start cutting your own cabbage or whatever the fuck y'all do. Your own broccoli. And now, slowly but surely, the individual is doing all the technique, making you depend on him, isolating you from the world. You're depending on him. He's constantly reinforcing. He's the man. He's the man. He's picking his recruits very carefully. You've seen it. You've seen it now. I don't have to even go through it. You've seen it now. All of this is prep for that. And you're prepped for it based upon your religious upbringing until you do things to reform your mind. And that's where we're at now. We're at a place where you should be reforming your mind. Scientology is a cult. You know what I'm saying? They do everything I said to the person who leaves. The girl who, or the woman who, or that white with nigger in her family somewhere down the line, actress who played on The King of Queens, was a Scientologist and who left, and now Leah something, who does documentaries on Scientology and the fucked upness of it all. And of course, she's ostracized and talked down to, she left and went back to humanity and everything in this book, 101. So it's everywhere. It ain't just the stupid Negro that you see. The people who's even making videos about an individual who's doing cult shit are usually explaining the cult that they're from while they're downing his cult. That's why Jesus never does that. That's why you got to be Christian and you can't be conscious. Consciousness is doo-doo. If you even calling yourself conscious now, you're stupid. You need to look at yourself as an individual. And me personally, I call myself a spiritualist or an end-time eschatologist. There's a war on consciousness. That subway shit, which looked staged, I don't know if it was, but it certainly looked kind of fishy. Even if it wasn't, turns out Subway Shooter Man is conscious. They're showing his conscious videos. Wait a minute. Wait a goddamn ding dong minute. They've done this before. This is not new news. In 2010, no, 8, 7, 8, or 9. Do not get me the lying. There was in Chicago, they said a group of Moors tried to blow up a federal building. Of course, they all went down, sent their asses to Indiana with the rest of the Moors who are in prison. There's a whole Moor prison somewhere, I think in Indiana. It's where they have Jeff Fort. Sent them up there, but were able to put that group now, the Moors, on the what's the security Homeland list, the Homeland Security list, because now they get to say this group has done a violent act against us. So now, same thing. Now you have all these conscious people, and there was a war on consciousness. You could see them slowly weeding niggas out, showing you the stupidity or making it look like the entire subject is absolutely stupid. You got about 100 Wendy Williams wannabes, which is nothing to live up to. Getting on and giving commentary has nothing to do with conscious people, conscious community, none of that. Christians who is, you see. So whether they were paid to, whether they're in on it or whatever, it doesn't even matter. But what it does is classifies the whole thing as stupidity. And the idea was that you were a standalone, pristine thing for young minds who had this calling. Now, if you're a young mind like this calling, it should look like Maury Povich. It's stupid. It's done. It's eaten. Every place you turn looks absolutely preposterous. So that's why, yet again, I point out you as an individual need to deal with your science individually. You cannot deal with this as a group. That day is over. And partly not because the white man's hard at work and he's always got something on the pot, even though he is at work and always got something on the pot. But what he's cooking is getting real, that soup is getting real thin now. Because again, we have shifted and you think it's him that's doing it, but it's us now. We are in a new frequency and that old shit ain't working. That abuse ain't working. Niggas is getting weeded out. You fucking a bunch of chicks, having your sexual fiasco, calling it polygamy. You can call it whatever you want, dog. But you need to be real with yourself. You like pussy and you like fucking a lot of pussy. Just say that. Who mad at you, Dun? Who mad at you? These are my wives. No, they're not. They walk and they leave anytime they want. But they're your wives because you buy them some whole food, nigga? Because they get up in the morning and eat magical cereal with your ass? The fuck on, nigga. That's not no why. You have a crib and they all living there running the fucking muck. You sucking and fucking everything. You just pimping, dog. No wiles. Call it what it is. And the day of the Geechee is over, nigga. Don't take it. The day of this false teaching, there was another phenomenon that I noticed early on in MySpace was this Jesus complex. The nigga who swear he knew more than everybody and he's here to save black people. That day is over. Them niggas are getting weeded out. Ain't nobody fucking with that. Your integrity is what's going to keep you here. This is not about being necessarily, but it's always good if you do, a nice person or a better human. This is about if you're dealing with this particular. Khadijah calling. Khadijah calling. Khadijah calling. Hold on. All right, I'm not doing all of that. If Okay, well, let me just get it out the way so you niggas will know. Uh, Again, guys, keep the lights on. Cash App, $ Brother Pan. Cash App, $ Brother Pan. Make a brother's day go nice. The book signing, it looks like we got a spot. So it's going to be in Stone Mountain. Y'all can start hitting the place up. 5380 studios.com. 5380 studios.com. By the next time I'm here, I'll have a flyer for you. I just got it. It's at 5380 East Mountain Street, Stone Mountain, GA 30087. That's 5380 East Mountain Street, Stone Mountain, GA 30087. That's 5380 Studios. So if you need to call them, make arrangements, or find out anything, that's who to call about their location. We will be there August 6th for the book signing. That's a Saturday. There are hotels nearby: Evergreen, Atlanta, Evergreen, Marriott, Stone Mountain Inn, Country Inn Suites by the Radisson, Holiday Inn Express, bed and breakfast nearby, Stone Mountain Manor. So there's a lot of shit and a lot of places to stay if you're going to make a night of it. You can park anywhere in the area, so there'll be plenty of parking. It says even if the sign says 3-hour limit, they say it's fine. You can stay longer. It's their spot. So Saturday, August 6th, I think, and I'm 90% sure, this is a location that King Simon put Khadijah onto. So shout out to King Simon. Shout out to his work. If you're trying to deal with numerology and understand or get readings, see King Simon. He's easy to find on Instagram. Just do a search. I don't know his URL, but King Simon is easy to find. And he deals with numerology. So if you're interested in getting a reading, see him and see what he got going on. So I want to shout out King Simon and thank you. Thank you for always having something to add. He always has something to add to something. So thank you for being that positive brother. And again, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, King Simon hit me up one time and I went off on his ass, thinking he was a part of the regular whole Teposphere. And that nigga held up a picture. He said, no, nigga, I bought your book and I don't do that. I apologize to this nigga for like 3 months straight for that. And so publicly I have to say he's a good brother. And, you know, we need more of that, especially now. And, you know, this shit looks like jackasses and that's not what it's about. The jackasses have always been the jackasses. This is not people who were pristine and turned into jackasses. They walk through the door seeing the hustle. You understand? They walk through the door seeing the hustle. They seen, I'll do you one better. Before there was a hustle or people even knew there was an angle to hustle, the hustle started online. I went on MySpace and put up, you know, what I, you know, some dark shit, Baphomet and all of that. And I started getting text messages from random people. Could you initiate me? Could you? Don't know who I am, what I do. This is way before I started speaking. Don't know what I was about, but just seeing the pictures, and that was good enough. I'll pay you $2,000, $3,000 just could you initiate me. The people who were from the lecture circuit, just like I was, people who were even more adamant, yelling about how niggas need to get into this magic shit or you're gonna die. Just do it. Because pretty much Bobby Hemmett's message was, you don't really need to be initiated. You don't need to go through a traditional system to have access to spirituality. That was radical, but a fact. So now these people turned around 180. You got to get initiated, you get fucked up. Scare tactics, just like in a cult. I'm the one. There was a person who tried to do it, got fucked up, couldn't get the voices out of their head. I had to come in and get the voices out. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that nigga. I'm like, whoa, this nigga was just yelling the loudest about it. Now, oh, these niggas just, he found a hustle. So in other words, when this internet thing came about, the hustles became open. Then you seen these buffoons sit before you representing consciousness, and they can keep that word. Again, I'm gonna have to say what I am. Stuff fuck generalized. I'm an end-time eschatologist. I deal with spiritual events of right now, what you could do right now. And I've always been on that shit. Check my daddy's records. Check the records. I've always taught that. What you can do right now to have access, to have realization, to have a reality shifting experience personally, not about me. And I have to thank Bobby Hemmett. I know it never was my nature, because my esteem didn't run that way. And maybe that's what maybe one of the things that may have got me through the door in terms of me and him corresponding in the way we did. But ultimately, he also made a point of how that shit could go left if you're not paying attention to your own ego. That's how it works. You start believing these niggas telling you how special you are. I mean, people coming to me crying, real tears, tears that hit the ground, nigga, what you've done and what you did. And I'm humbled and honored and hugged and say it's okay, but it's really you. See, that's your pimping moment for these corrupt niggas. That's not my pimping moment. You know what I'm saying? My pimping moment is when I'm sitting on the couch and Khadijah come by and pat me on the head. Hey, baby. And goes and does whatever she does with a smile on her face. To me, that's my moment. I don't need that moment from anybody else. Not these days, and I never really did. But these days, My son, granddaughter, they all are an extension of that pat on the head. My son tells me, I don't know where I'd be if you didn't do this and you didn't do that. That's enough. The truth enough was when now that he has a kid, I totally get what you were doing. Feels complete. Those things mean more than some old random girl. You ain't old, you ain't grow out of that shit yet. Some random little girl willing to give you head at your command. You didn't have that when you was in your 20s, nigga? 2 little and 3 little girls, 20-year-olds, 25-year-olds. These are little girls. It's pitiful. It's disgusting. It's disgusting from a human standpoint, absolutely. But from a spiritual standpoint, it's unspeakable. It's unspeakable. These people are looking for light, all of them. You're giving them this fantasy about what we're going to be and what we're going to do. It's wolf tickets. They would say you're selling wolf tickets. Shit that ain't never going to happen because it can happen. The only thing that can happen for someone if it's initiated and done by that someone. And why nothing's happening, because you initiated yourself into doing nothing by moving all your power to an individual or moving all your power to a group that you call family or the community. You know what I'm saying? I've been told you that's an invisible concept that doesn't exist. You're not saving the babies. There's no such thing as the babies. There are babies. And then there are babies that you are responsible for. There are babies that you are and can be responsible for due to the extended families and extended people you know. Yes, take care of them motherfuckers all day, every day, twice a day. You understand what I'm saying? That's what you're supposed to do. That ain't, I'm taking care of the babies. No, the motherfucker, how could you? What baby that comes to your house can't eat or have a warm blanket, nigga? Like, that's not a thing. To say it's a thing is because you're not, that's some shit you're not doing. That's the compartmentalized, as I pointed out, with words. Is how you use these words that don't go anywhere, that don't do anything, that stifle you, but it's made to look like as if you are of this fucking nobility. The ancestors are watching me. No, they're not. Who the fuck? That's such an egotistical thing to say. If you study these things and study energy, and if you start doing the work and having, you get beyond the books. Let me say that, because niggas seem to want to argue that. Do you get beyond the books? You fucking right. I've been beyond the books 10 years ago. I refer to books so you Negroes know the path to get to the place. You have to read the books to become beyond the motherfuckers. You ain't study no shit and talking about you beyond the books. You fucking moron. That's why you sound like a fucking moron. It's the fucking blind leading the blind. It's the blind leading the fucking blind. Fucking don't know shit. You get beyond the books when you satisfy an aspect of your mind. You must satisfy your ego. You must shut it up. The books shut it up. Then you could get to the spiritual work, which is the wisdom and the understanding of what you read. And the book is just knowledge. Whether you get it on YouTube from another lecturer who's black, or a book, it's the same energy stream, knowledge. What you do with it, stupidity, you human bag of fucking stupidity, what you do with it is what is key. Oh, we're gonna talk a little sass right now. What you do with it is key. And you're doing nothing with it because you don't know what to do with it. But what you do know how to do is repeat it as if you are some form of a genius, some form of a smart guy. You're a foolish mule. Such the foolish mule. Get some Grubhub going here. So you got to start, because I'm sick of saying the same shit over and over again. I've told niggas how to start. I told niggas where step one is. Told niggas about my class. Told niggas about this. Told niggas about that. Told niggas about this. Step one is meditation. Step two may be astral traveling. You're starting to get into your own mind, starting to learn different aspects of your mind and starting to become aware in different levels of your own consciousness. And then your next thing is maybe candle magic, fairy magic, any of that stuff, crystal magic, any of these things, these tools that start expanding your mind or doing the mind calisthenics that it needs to ultimately to have spiritual communication. What you're calling ancestors are nothing but energy signatures that you work with that are not sitting around watching your ass, waiting for you to wake up, you fucking empty shell. They're waiting, you wake up to it. It's not hanging around going, geez, I sure wish Jamie would fucking light a candle so I can help him with his job. No, if you need help with your job, what you're calling an ancestor, you're accessing spiritual energy, but your mind has to be prepped for that. Most niggas' minds are not prepped for that. Oh, they got a lot of good cosmic looking shit. Let me see. What do I want? Do I want some Jamaican shit? It's feeling Jamaican-y today. But I don't want them big. Might just go upstairs and make something. Excuse me, guys. I'll be talking to y'all niggas that are starving later on. Mad I didn't order no shit and have it in the house. All right. I had some seafood yesterday. You know, I think I want some Jamaican shit. Give me a second. I'm gonna go to the spot. I gotta find the spot that I usually get. Get a little bit of this and a little bit of that. All right, where we at? Oh, there we go, yard vibes. We got the blood clot yard vibes. All right. Now I gotta ask Khadijah if she wants something. Let's see. I got that. I want to get some plantains. If they got a side of that, you know what I'm saying, son? Yeah, a couple of these. Yep. Yeah. I know she ain't fucking with this. All right, they ain't got my shit. Cocoa bread, patties, oxtail. What the fuck is an ox? Yeah, I ain't eat that shit before. Rasta pasta. Rasta pasta. What the fuck is Rasta pasta? All right, so you can't order that. All right, well, fuck it. We go with this. Yeah, we go with this. Do I want this shit? Now I'm trying to. Hold on, let me see what's on Uber Eats. I was almost there. We're going to end this soon anyway. It's not much I had to say. I'm still working on the cyclomancy classes, so look for that soon. August 6th is the book signing. Here's the new book, so y'all can see how thick this fucker is. It is not out yet. August 6th, book release. I'll be doing it then, and then it'll be out on the site. Probably gonna do some site updates and all that shit. Okay. This shit is killing me right now. Oh, here we go. I like this guy. Blink. Let's do it. Let's do it. There's nothing to it. We're gonna make this Okay, to do that. Yep. And let's see. Yep. Let's do these. Now let's do these. Drink. All right. I think we're in business here. Boom, 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 boom. Don't you like it? Don't you like it? Yeah, like it, baby, baby. All right, so here we go. Boom, boom. All right, so we are now in the time of individual thought. You got to. Otherwise, you're dead in the water. And to access some of these trinkets that the quantum world is starting to open up, or the multiverse is open up to some of your powers, some of your data that's within you. It's a matter of visualization and imagination. There is nothing more important than your imagination at this time. Nothing more important than your ability to have detailed visualization using 5 senses. The 5 senses that you here, you need to apply that to your thought process. So if you never went to the Eiffel Tower, practice at the feeling, what it would smell like, what it would feel like, what you would be, what's in the air, the taste of what you feel the food is, where you feel you at, what you're seeing, what you're hearing. You know what I'm saying? Be there in the moment and try to feel that moment. Again, if you're having trouble with this and have trouble with shit like that, think sexually for men. For women, Khadijah tells me you think romantically. Women fantasize more romantically, guys fantasize more nasty. So visualize, try to think of the detail. Most of why we want pussy, because we forget how it feels. Oh yeah, that's the feeling. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I remember it down when you're in it. When you're out of it, you know it, but you're ready for more. Visualize sexually, whoever you're with, whoever you're fantasizing about, detail. What you'll probably be surprised is how much detail that you're now getting. That's because you're accessing it inside your data stream. You're accessing it inside your Akasha, in your DNA. Now, if you access a new way of being, a new way of mentality, or whatever it is you want or need to be, I hope it's higher shit more than just money and clothes and shit like that. I mean, if that's what you need, that's what you need. But if that's what you want, have higher wants, I think. And that's what I hope, but you do what you do. And ultimately, you'll notice that these things are moving a little bit better for us now, and it will only get better because we are shifting in a time where our thoughts will dictate just a little bit easier our reality. They always did. That's what laws of attraction and all the rest of that crap was. It was just more of an uphill battle and more to sift through. You get what I'm saying? Like when Obatala came, Obatala does not drink alcohol. That's one of his no-nos, in fact. And in fact, he sits over the deformed kids because he said, Oludamare. You ever notice when they say that name, they say it like that? Because, you know, there's a Batala that's just that, and this and Shango and this one, then Oludamare. Oludamare made some retarded kids because he was drunk, or one of them did. And Obatala sits over them. So he doesn't drink any liquor. But when he came through, he said, pour him some rubbing alcohol. This cleans the path of thought into the physical world because it has to sift through so much negative thought that exists here based upon us coming through the Kali Yuga. They showed that shit in Wonder Woman, the last one. You kept hearing the Wishmaster, and the Wishmaster was everybody's thoughts, but it's being funneled through a self-centered system. So you heard all of this chatter. The Wishmaster heard it in his head, and that chatter represents what's in the atmosphere, which why pure and conscious thoughts were fighting their way down. So much so, that's why these corrupt niggas are being exposed on the level and as much as they do. Of course, white people want to take credit for it because psychologically, as a cult leader, they have to make it seem like they're responsible for everything. But they're not. This shit is happening because of you. They're doing what they're doing because of you. They're putting Kamala Harris and Kenji Brown in positions that, of course, they're going to use it to manipulate, and it means nothing. Niggas are still going to be mass incarcerated, no matter how many ignorant black people sit up there and cry, this is a great day for us. Like, you ain't do shit, you lazy, no account, nobody. That's the mentality that they got. They make Kenji Brown or Obama or Kamala Harris something, and you feel you've done something. Nigga, you've done nothing. but sit around and go, that's my president. That's my vice president. She's my justice of the peace. The fuck on, nigga. That's how they playing you with this idea that you need a leader. You need somebody to follow. You need somebody to tell you shit is all right and this is how it's done. I get that you may come into that, but you got to be of the mentality to grow out of that. And the teachers who stand in front of you have to be of the mentality to want to push you along. You graduated, son, move on and go wherever you go. If there's somebody else higher than me, then 2 thumbs up. If you feel you can study on your own and you don't need to listen to anybody else, sure, knock yourself out if it's fun. But you should be able to listen to that man in the mirror. You should be able to follow your own feet. And if you can't, you have a problem. You have more of a problem now because of the time that we're coming in. What's the problem? Just probably more of the shit that you're trying to get away from. Not because I define it. You tell me. You tell me. So the new mentality is self a savior. You save yourself. Ain't no show and prove shit. You show and prove to yourself. Don't waste your time trying to prove to other motherfuckers who they are. You show and prove to yourself. You don't need anything but your own mind. The only problem you have here is if you can't read. If you can read, then you should let no man or woman lead your ass any motherfucking where. I'm not here to lead you. I'm here to share information with you and to help you to lead yourself. True teachers make other teachers. True narcissistic egomaniacs make a group of motherfuckers standing around exclaiming how motherfucking divine this nigga or whatever nigga or whatever chick is, serving themselves and having them serve others. It's scary, but truly understandable. Because as we pointed out, most of our minds are prepped for it. Most of our minds are prepped for this already, for this sadness. Most of our minds are already prepped and set up for it. The true cult master, Jesus Christ, has already got you. So while you shame on this nigga, that's right, I knew that shit was going to happen. Look what he doing to the poor girls. Look what Jesus Christ did to thousands upon thousands of black women. Shit, when you fucking them, they calling his name. Oh, Jesus. He ain't in the room, bitch. It's just you, and all this black love on your ass. Oh, not my Lord and Savior. Oh, Lord Jesus Christ, look what he's doing. Get on the bus. Oh, Jesus. That's the cult master. Why isn't nobody arresting that shit? You know what I'm saying? Or anyone who stands there and promotes that. Why isn't he just as disgusting as when a conscious nigga goes down for it? The entire Catholic Church made sport of fucking kids. Where's the incredible outrage? How come people, they caught him doing that and people are still following? Well, they caught them niggas in the church doing that and none of that shit fell off. And none of you niggas are saying nothing about that. Yeah, it's fucked up what they doing. But look at this nigga here. Oh, he's so disgusting. It's animals like that that keep the race down. What about the animal that says, I see you next week in church? I see you next week in Sunday school. Send your kids to Sunday school. What about that animal? You know, 10% go to the Lord. We need to take, we didn't get enough. What about that animal? Creflo Dollar. What about that savage? Right. It's all the same thing. We need to get off of that entirely. Stop looking at one thing as the other and look at that this human mindset is your true enemy. And you bear it. Therefore, the true enemy to yourself is you. And you need to work and sift through that. This shit is about keeping your mind under control. Not being under mind control. So again, this book I always bring up is valuable. And there's plenty, I have plenty of mind control books. But this, I think, gets right to it for most niggas who are working on 1.0 technology. You get to evaluate yourself when you read a book like that. Damn, I do that. Damn, they are saying, that sound like such and such. I thought they were free niggas. Long and short, my niggas and niggerettes, I think in this age of the multiverse, or what they're calling the multiverse, I just think the quantum world is opening up based upon our imagination and visualization. And therefore, we can pull a little bit more sunshine, i.e., living up to snuff in the time, a golden age reality. Therefore, understanding that our mind controls and dictates, which it really always did. But now I think it'll be easier going. What I notice is anything I put my focus on now is turned up at least 10. If I visualize or go back or do a meditation at my grandmother's house, nigga, I am there. To the point where sometimes I have to open my eyes just to ground myself because I am there. And I've always been good at that. My father taught me to meditate at a very young age. So I've always was well exercised in that area. But now, after all this COVID shit that went down and this, especially this last one on Marion, shit came on the line, niggas. And that was that Phage Lambda hit that we got, that Omaricon. All that other shit was that other shit. But that last one, that's why they didn't play it up that big. And that's why nobody got fucked up off of that last one. That's what we were waiting for the whole time. That's what they was trying to keep us in the house from, keep masks on. That's what, they just forgot all about it. They took the mask mandate off now. Again, I want to also point out, now that they made a violent act and connected it to consciousness, stop calling yourself that. First of all, you should stop calling yourself that because of all the fucking fiascos started off by this arguing debate shit. That ended this. It is no longer in, it opened the door for the Jerry Springer crowd. And it was already leaking in based upon anybody putting anybody on fucking camera. I don't know who was worse, the fucking idiots being interviewed or the fucking idiots who were interviewing them, giving them the fucking forum so they get attention. It only shows how they always felt about this shit. It was a hustle. And it is what it is. That's revealed. That's why nobody likes you no more. That's why nobody's fucking with you no more. It's getting time out for it, dog. We not in that time no more. They're looking for some other shit to entertain them with. And they never run out. Never run out. So with that being said, guys, it's time to be the individual. It's time to take responsibility. You don't know how. There's plenty of people who came before me. There's plenty of lectures that I have before this that explain so much methodology. Just pick your subject and Google. I refer you to books. I have book lists. Bobby Hemmett refers you to books. He has book lists. You can start there. Start reading, start studying. If you feel you're beyond books, good for you. Do your thing. What I can tell you is what books did for me was gave me a bunch of information to then make spiritual, to then start to activate with it. So it's in you and you're this and you're melanin, you're black. You fucking right I am. And I guarantee you, I have done that. You're not going to get me on that. I don't run the books to counteract anything. I can tell you from firsthand spiritual experiences. That's a fact. But that process started through studying. And that's a fact as well. You don't just wake up spiritual. And the people who do somehow have this gift. The fact that they keep calling it a gift alone shows me how what they don't know. But they're not doing anything with it that matters. They're not getting anything out of it, but saying they have a gift. I can see your aura in this fucking chocolate blue with nutmeg sprinkles in it, nigga. Okay, now what? That nutmeg look good. Yeah, but now what? You know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter. Can you manipulate and change your aura? And do you know what that even means and why to do it? No. Well, there's plenty of books on it. So if you have powers with the aura, why don't you read and expand your understanding about it through knowledge and then do what you know? It's not that hard. But see, dumb motherfuckers who want to act like they know, but can't back that shit up with nothing. Just want to act like they're fucking smarts is doing it. What they're doing is they've been accepted with this dumbed down information from people who don't want to learn, but want to feel like they learn. So now you created a following of fucking the blind leading the blind. And hey, that's what you want to do. I'm talking to the people who want to know. If you don't want to know and you're having fun doing what you're doing, all right. I'm talking to the people who are not satisfied, because I meet a lot of those. So people who are not satisfied with the status quo. The shift now is to the individual. Stop saying community, stop saying family, unless that's what you want. Because this study is not conducive to that, I don't think. Information share, yes. So family, community, and all that, sharing information, great. But if you truly want to transform, you got to step out of that path. That's what the left-hand path is actually called, or what it actually means. The right hand doesn't mean religion; it just means the status quo. So if you was in Africa and you was in the Zulu nation, that would be the right-hand path. That's the status quo. But if I became Shaka Zulu, cutting spears in half, taking off sandals, I'm now moving as an individual, left-hand path. As deep as you think the Zulus are, a new Zulu kid born, his mentality is a cult mentality. He's going to do everything in the culture and not color outside those lines. He'll be ostracized. Think I'm bullshitting? Watch Shaka Zulu again. He didn't have a father, ostracized, which means his mother didn't have a wife, ostracized. About 4 or 5 things he was ostracized because of social things, social order. And this is good old Africa that you like. You want to see what good old Africa's doing, nigga? Young, rich, and African. Why are you coming for me? You don't want it with me. I'm a real nigga. Swanky Jerry. Free on Netflix. The sad thing is, when you watch it, the people who they present as the most ignorant, they actually got a little bit more sense, which means they're trying to mimic the ignorance that niggas in America really have. They're trying to mimic the ignorance, but have just 7% more compassion in what they're doing. But the shit they're wearing, they dress up to go to everything. Y'all got to see this shit. Yo, I'm gonna watch the season 1. I gotta watch it again. The names: Two-Face, Swanky Jerry. What was the other dude's name? This little rapper dude. Terrible raps. Well, or raps of that world. There was a sister rap. It's just Africans doing nigga shit. Unfucking believable. And it just shows you our power and influence, even in our ignorance. It's time to knock it off. It's looking real silly now. Let the gossipers gossip with that. This is a call for niggas, step out of this bullshit and start getting into the science, getting into the study. Start where you at. You got to. We're moving into an age where a lot of niggas are going to suffer, I believe, based upon holding on to that golden calf, holding on to that old mentality, dressing like Run DMC in the era of fucking Who Let the Dogs Out. After a while, you look stupid standing there going, raw. Look great at his time, but right now, when I'm alone in my room, sometimes I stare at the wall. Why are you coming out with that, nigga? It worked back then, but right now, you better come out with some other shit, some new shit. Otherwise, you're going to die with it. You're going to die with it, and that's a fact. So that's where we at. You know what I'm saying? That's where we at. So it's the short one. Nothing else to really say. The book signing will be August 6th. You will have a flyer. So I'll be able to give you prices for the door, things like that. We're going to figure some of this shit out. But August 6th in Atlanta, we already got the place. Let me give you that address again. It will be at 5380 Studios is what it's called. 5380 East Mountain Street, Stone Mountain, GA 30083. So if you got any questions that are for them, you want to get in contact with 5380studios.com. Hit them up. Otherwise, you'll get more information from me. Plenty of hotels, plenty of parking, but it's going to be for the signing of my new joint, The 7 Laws of Power. See how thick this fucker is. This is a good book. I was in the zone the whole time. And when I read it now, it's like reading something I didn't, I'm like, who the fuck wrote that? And my boys, Brother Shabazz gave me a good review. He's like, yo, fucking outstanding. And the way I wrote it, you could tell I learned from the first one. You are going to love this one. I'm mailing a whole bunch of shit out. I know it's late, as always, but I just packaged up with my son this weekend, 200 packages. I'm going to get stamps with Manza tomorrow, send out a whole heap of shit out. And so that's going on as usual. Khadijah's working on her classes, her Akasha classes. She's still doing her readings. Go to her site, Samdi Readings, SAMEDIREADINGS.com, or go to my website, occultlectures.com. You'll be able to link to her, get my classes. I'm about to do the last live class before they exclusively on Patreon, and I initiate my new class, which will be on cyclomancy, which I'm putting the curriculum together now. It's going to be fire. So things are looking good. Cash App, $ Brother Pan. Come see me on Instagram, BRTHAPANIC, brother, Panic. Is it? Or is there an O in there somewhere? Let's go on and see what this Instagram looks like. I don't want to give y'all the wrong shit. Instagram. Yes, you, Instagram.com. I am, oh, come on, I got to sign in. Oh, no. Okay, no, it gives me my name. BROTHAPANIC. So there is an O. Almost had that fucked up, son. So Brother Panic. Yes, let's save this info. BROTHAPANIC. Brother Panic on Instagram. So come and see me. Sign up. Join me. Subscribe here. I didn't never ask people to subscribe, but I'm at 91. Let's see what 100,000 feels like, if that even matters. But you know, let's do what we do. But I'm very strong and sure on where we are at in accessing the so-called multiverse. It's through visualization and through your imagination that's going to do it. To see if it works. Don't take my word for it. Just start doing shit and see what you can get out of it. Peace be unto you, niggas. Talk that sass, nigga. Talk that.
I've been up and I've been down until you helped me put my feet on solid ground. I've been up and I've been poor. Then you showed me that there's so much more than the rat race and the fast pace could ever offer me. When I look back, baby, you've always been there for me. Something in the way you make me feel. Ain't no doubt about it. I won't shout about it. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. Oh, and it makes me feel real good. Something in the way you make me feel. Oh, something in the way you make me feel. Oh, I've been talked about and I've been scorned. I've been praised and I've been adored. I've met all kinds, traveled over this world. And still you love me into a different girl. You got the right touch and I don't know what came over me. But when I woke up, honey, it was so plain to see. Something in the way you make me feel. I won't talk about me. Get up and walk and show me. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. Oh, you make me feel. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. Oh, it's something in the way. Yes, it's something in the way. I tell you, babe, something in the way you make me feel. I won't talk about
Right.